Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another new CJM episode 3. Fuck ass.
Take it again from one.
I don't know how to count tonight. So, sorry about that slip up. Welcome back to CJM, new CJM. So, today we'll be talking about Accel World, created by Reki Kawahara, released in 2012, 2013, 2014?
Double checking because this is a rather old it's like a decade old at this point.
Yep.
2012.
2012.
2012.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got that right. So yeah.
To be honest, I don't know what the name is.
So anyway, I'm Chris.
I'm Jeff.
Michael.
Ben here.
Burst Link.
First link.
First Linko.
Birthday?
Exactly.
Today we're talking about Accel World. This was Jeff's choice. And we watched all 24 episodes, 2 OVAs.
25.
What?
25 episodes.
25 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was 24.
One sec. Checking. 20. No, you're right. 24 episodes.
Huh.
24 episodes total.
Alright, so 24 episodes, 2 OVAs, and a movie.
Which could have been 45 minutes.
A movie with 30 minutes of fucking recap.
Mm.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
For our friends who missed it.
Fucking me. So, yeah.
And
So, yeah, this is Jeff's thing, so, take it away. Give us the rundown of what this Accel World is.
Roger that. Well, as you know, okay, so I decided to do Accel World, and I didn't think I was going to let everyone watch all these episodes, because it was like 24 episodes total, plus a lot of back material that the anime never went into, and then pretty much the movie actually was released in like around 2015, 2016 in Japan, and I thought, oh, that looks so cool. I guess we're never going to get it. But then around 2019, Viz was able to release it into the American domain, and then I got it, and I said, awesome, 2 OVAs and a movie. This is going to be great. It was good. It was good. Movie was good, then great, but at the same time, it was rather like, oh, they didn't really put that much love into this, and if unlike SAO or whatever.
Yeah, like we'll get to the movie, but my obvious problem was the 30 minutes of recap didn't need to be a thing. They could have just done it in 5 minutes, and just like the plot was so short and
yeah.
and inclusion of new characters. But I'll get to that when we get to the movie section of the episode.
Yes.
So
pretty much, I discovered this anime around 2012, 2013. I was scoping out Amazon, and I was looking for some anime, and I just noticed something called Accel World's out, and I only ever remember seeing one picture of a meme on Facebook once about Haruyuki's avatar and Kyuyuki Hime, and the meme said, this one guy was able to get the prom queen or something, because he's like short, fat, and everything, and she's like the bombshell goth girl or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so I only know that from that picture, but then I decided I'm gonna watch it, and I got it, and I was not disappointed, and it became one of my favorite series, up there with Fate Stay Night, One One Half, and Sailor Moon, and all that stuff. I loved it, and then when I realized, and then years later, like around 2014, I noticed that Yen Press decided to finally release the books in English, and I decided to get it. And up to this point now, I have read this story for like 8 years, and it is now up to like volume 25 currently, and for us.
So it's still running.
Yes, I have checked, and it's currently on 26 volumes in Japan, So he has not give. He is still continuing the story. I don't know how long Weki Kawaha is going to do this because he does have other things like SAO shit he wants to do. I guess I don't know, but he is steadily keeping this story going, and I am enjoying it for how he's doing it, which I'll get into shortly.
Because ironically, he put more effort into this than he did SAO.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean, in terms of characters and differences, yes. I mean, when you think of Reiki Kawaha, you don't really automatically think of Excel World. Sadly, everyone automatically goes to SAO because that took the Westerners by storm, us Americans, and all that shit, and it just blew up to everyone's hatred, annoyance, or like or love or
It
whatever.
was
Because
very controversial, to say
yes,
the least.
especially when it was on Toonami, and that caused like a Cold War, and it was pretty much like, ugh, this is so. I'm so totally done with all this shit. But I, at this point in my life, I can safely say it's fine. It's not the best anime. I got pissed off at a lot of points, but it's fine. But it's not for me.
Luckily, I was not on Twitter during that run.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Like I didn't sign up for Twitter until I was like 16.
Yeah. Good
Uh,
time.
More or less.
My 2 cents on Sword Art Online.
I'm being sarcastic about the good time.
What was that? What was that, Ben?
Oh, if I had to give my 2 cents on Sword Art Online, I'd say like the biggest reason it's so controversial is because basically the writing quality can rubber band between being abysmal and being fantastic.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah,
Like,
there's like
somebody-
there's like scenes where it's like really fucking good, and then it just goes like, what the fuck were you smoking?
Yeah, and he kept
Especially with the
like,
character
using
writing.
Yeah.
tropes. And he kept reusing like, similar tropes and
To the point where
You
I
know,
didn't realize that. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, it's all good.
Sorry, I zoned out. But to the point where I didn't realize that Accel World was made by the person who made SAO, and when I found out, I became legitimately concerned.
He did. He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, the writing of this series has been pretty alright so far. Now I'm just waiting for it to fall out the bottom.
It didn't fall out that bad. So like
Oh, it actually stayed really strong. pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I disagreed with was not even a story thing, but a presentation thing that a lot of other people liked, and it's just like a personal preference. Oh yeah. Also, the other elephant in the room was that Accel World is actually in the same universe as Sword Art Online.
yeah, like I was like, oh shit. Like when they revealed the nerve gear, like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like 40 years in the future. I don't know. Can I spoil things if we're talking about the entire series?
I mean, we're gonna spoil it anyway, so.
But I guess talking about it out of order, there was a part there's like I feel like I'm going to talk about it out of order, so actually maybe we'll just wait until it comes up in conversation.
Okay, that's fine. But pretty much, this is not an SAO thing because I refuse. However, I will say one good thing about SAO. If you don't know this, but I guess you'll know now, I am a stickler for, if it's an anime I like, I always check for like character songs or image songs of the character singing something to really get like behind the character and what their like mindset is. And I will say, huh?
A leitmotif.
Yeah. Yes. So I will say, Kirito, Asuna, and Sinon have some good character songs that I like listening to, if I remember it exists. They got some good music.
What you've shown me, that has a little bit of buyer beware to it if we go Tenchi. I don't do that.
Wait.
What about
There
Tenchi?
we go. Aega has a character song that's interesting.
Showed him once. Okay, another minor tangent. I showed Ben once a song about Ayeka's character song called "Oh Just Summer, Call Me Princess," and it's pretty much a song that she is pretty much dominating Tenchi with whips and chains, and that she will kill him or something if he should ever hook up with Ryoko. But it's pretty much parody and fun. But yeah, she's
The
free.
stones may break my bones.
It's like,
The chains and whips excite me.
oh, it's the quiet one. Oh, it's the quiet
I-
ones. You're like,
yes.
yep, I'm
Oh
having
god,
it.
I know nothing of Tenchi Muyo, and knowing that Ayaka's into that kinky shit, I'm like, oh damn.
Well, actually, it's very well. No. I will not tangent, but I will say this briefly. It is understandable if you know more of the backstory and her family unit to make it to finally cement the fact that Ayaka, yeah, she's kind of crazy, and she got that from her grandmother and her mother too. So
I know nothing about Tenchi
Yeah, oh,
Muyo, but now that I know that about Ayaka, I make plans to watch
Grandma,
it.
mama.
And we are off topic.
which is fine, but let's get back on track. One
Yeah.
day I will talk about Tenchi. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
stay
for
on
the
topic.
most-
Stay on topic.
Yes. Okay. So for the most part,
Why
we
did
watched-
you invite me?
Hmm?
Nothing. I made a joke. Keep going.
No. We invite you because of these things. It's always good with you then.
No. I was making a joke about me going off topic at literally every opportunity.
Right, I'm used to it. It's fine.
I mean, sometimes we're off topic a lot, so.
Yes. So pretty much, we watched all 24 episodes for 3 weeks, and it went good. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of unexpected situations where Chris and Ben were just totally against you for like 1 minute.
We'll get to that when we get to that section of the spoilers. We were both of us were fucking just really hard on Chiyu.
So how do I break this down? Do I break it down by an overall view, or just start going into characters and we just talk about everything?
Can we just go through the plot as it happens?
Yes, we can.
I mean, that's what I thought that we're gonna do. So
Yeah.
should we just begin the step-by-step plot of the show?
Okay. I'll do my best because I broke this up more by characters on my notes, but we can do that. I just don't want to go through all the episodes because it's pretty much in general, and just give an overall view of
I
the
can
plot.
try and
Then
do a really boiled down version of it.
go. I'll leave it to you. Go.
All right, cool. So in the beginning, where we meet Haru, who is
Haruyuki.
Haruyuki, who is basically, I'm bad at names. Who
It's
is
fine.
basically being, and I think I missed this part during movie night, but is basically being tormented by 3 random bullies.
Yes.
There's also if you ever played Digimon Cyber Sleuth or watched Summer Wars, there's this a virtual reality AR virtual world that basically people use instead of the internet now.
Virtual reality, augmented reality. There's a device on everybody's necks that allows them to
Neurolinker.
Yeah, the Neuralinker is the device that is on their neck, is connected to their their brain, and so they're able to have a HUD of everything, and then connect to a virtual world. So it's like the Oasis in freaking Ready Player One, where pretty much you use virtual reality with real life, you know.
And everyone has an avatar, and the only thing of note I remember the bullies doing is forcing Haru to change his avatar to a tiny cartoon pig, which he never stops using even after the bullies go away because it becomes a series mascot. I don't know if that's good or bad for him. He just kind of gets used to it.
He likes it eventually. After the bully, he likes it.
So basically we're revealed that Haru has his 2 friends from childhood, kind of Kingdom Hearts vibes. Chie, who is sort of the protective matron friend who's watching out for her friends.
Chiyuri.
Chiyuri. And Takamu, who is
Exactly.
the
Yes.
40 jock friend who Haru feels inferior to. And Chiri and Takamu are dating.
And
so
Takamu is in Kendo, which is also a thing in SAO with
Yes.
Suguha. So
Yes.
yeah, there's Kendo in these. So
It connect.
so yeah, sorry for the interruption.
no, you're good. What was I gonna say? Oh, right. Chie and Takamu are dating, and Takamu goes to a totally different school than Chiri and Haru. So it's basically Haru and Chiri looking out for him, and Chiri is the protective type, but is also sort of the non-confrontation type, so she doesn't actually do much. So Haru has a lot not going well for him, and he basically just uses the online world to escape. This gets the notice of one of the upperclassmen at the school, who notices that his scores in what was basically like a one-player pinball game were just absolutely insane. And she has this one game that she loves, that she's been looking for people to play with her, and is like, well, he kicks some major ass. I'm gonna ask him if he'll play with him, and which actually begins one of the more interesting writing things of this, which is it's probably really obvious to everyone who's not me, but to me it was kind of hard for me to get. A lot of these characters are in high school, and sometimes
Junior high.
middle school or junior high, and sometimes they'll just do shit because they're young and kind of dumb, which never occurs to me, but it actually ends up being a really like an explanation for character actions a lot in the first season, and it's not like a cop out. It's actually smart writing. So instead of just going up and asking Haru, "Hey, do you want to play some video games with me?" she beats him at the game he's playing by cheating, and then plays it off like she did it normally. And is like, if you want to know how I did that, come see me after school. And it's like, you could have just said hi. So
But she's not normal, so
no,
Yeah.
she is mysterious.
gotta
So
gotta build intrigue.
yeah. So Haru goes to meet her after school, and
During school.
they're during school, but during lunch.
Yes.
And they're in the very upscale, preppy, upperclassmen.
The very elitist group, let's just say.
Yeah, the elite group.
And
So like a bunch of kids are like, "What are you doing here?" And they're all like nice about it, but they're also like, "Get the fuck out of our club." And it's revealed who called him there, which is I don't know what exactly the best term for it would be. I guess school celebrity. They're like a person in school everybody knows about, but very few people are friends with, and they're looked up to. And fun fact that I didn't know until recently: we never learned what her name is. She just has titles, and people refer to her by her titles, but no one actually says her real last name.
So yeah, Kiriyuki Hime is her screen name. No, we don't know her name until like a certain chapter in like the books later on, right, Jeff?
Yeah, actually, pause on everything. Yes, Kuroyuki Hime, his whole deal is she's a good hacker, kind of a good editor at best. She has a lot of secrets or backstory that gets into in volume 23 that reveals pretty much her surname, but never her first name still. And pretty much, you can continue with that. Yeah.
And by hacker and I guess editor, what they might be referring to is possibly modeler, because it's implied heavily that her avatar in the like Oasis world, she made herself, and it's very intricate and involved.
Yeah, actually, the reason she's able to make that, and this is one in my many revelations that's about to hit. So, sorry about this. Around volume 21 or 22, she has access to the secret program that is called Triple S. It was called.
Scroll. All right, flip it through the damn books as Jeff does.
I have to.
Uh, coming soon, coming soon, CJM book club.
This is not a
Early
book club. We are not going to start a book club. That would be too much for some.
No, we're not starting a book club. For all you bibliophiles, sorry.
Exactly.
Unless you
The
give
book club,
us.
and
Okay.
I
20. Yes. This might
I
be
made a
it.
joke about the book club, and I was like, no, I'm kidding. I'm allergic to reading. And then I realized I made that joke after reading like 4 tabletop manuals in a month.
I,
Read.
Okay.
I still haven't finished Dune, so and
Hmm.
I'm fucking lazy.
Yes. Okay. She has access to some mysterious program called SSS Order. It is an emblem with 2 swords and flowers. It's an emblem that she uses, and it's very secretive. She has used this SSS order. The SSS order can freely manipulate the in-school net of Emestral Junior High and discover the true identity of random attacker Cyan Pyle. So she can access a lot of stuff with this triple insignia data breach thing. And she has used that to keep her name kind of private, along with give her that avatar, which is like a springle butterfly, along with knowing about Haruyuki and the whole gaming thing and how she decided to make him the one she's going to choose to be her protege, as it were.
Yeah.
So
Green
it's a powerful program. That's all.
You also told me that she didn't make it herself; it was given to her.
It was given to her by another character named Graphit Edge.
Ah.
And like basically just listening to how all this works and how it not only gives her lots of access to I've heard Brain Burst, which is the game that she's going to get harder to play. It also gives her lots of access to just like the Oasis program too, which makes me feel like these all run in the same kind of operating system. And maybe the person who gave it to her just like loaned her his password, and he works for the company, or they work for the company.
Something like that. But pretty much that's one revelation. She has this illegal program that only she uses, but she is hesitant to use it consistently. But she has used it to improve the school life for her entire crew, pretty much.
By the way, before we continue, let's start the drinking game of how many times we say illegal in this, because during our watch parties, we started an ongoing gag with
Yes.
certain shit. So we'll get to the moment where we started the gag.
Yes. The queen of illegal shit herself.
So freaking illegal.
Yes. Okay, Ben, I'm going to take over for a bit from what you left off of. So pretty much, Haruyuki goes and introduces himself to Haruyuki Hime. She's beautiful, long hair. If you don't know what she looks like, Google her. She's very an attractive character.
Or look at the thumbnail I made.
Oh, to look at her thumbnail. And she is just drop dead gorgeous. At the time, the year of this takes place in October of 2046. He's in 7th grade, she's in 8th grade. I want that to be clear. This is taking place from episodes 1 to like 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5 episodes. Just the introduction and the plot of it all. She introduces, so pretty much she gives him this total spiel of, boy, I'm about to give you a program that's going to change your life. But the first thing is, if you can download the darn thing. She pretty much she gives him the icon of Brain Burst, and it downloads on his Neuralinker, and it just says,
Matrix feels. What's that
yes.
dude's name? Morpheus.
And it's yes, and it says Brain Burst and big flaming colors and chains and end of the world shit or something.
No, yeah,
pretty much,
like, would you rather like continue being in reality, or would you rather escape to a more accelerated world? And he's like, "Girl, don't make promises you can't keep."
exactly. And pretty much
red
clicks
pill, blue pill kind of situation.
Yes. So he pushes it, and then he's able to download it. Another fun fact: the Brain Burst thing only works once.
You can only download it once. You cannot download it again.
And there are like 3 criteria of how to download it. 1, you have to have been connected. You would have to have a Neuralink since you were born, pretty much, for the whole full establishment of being in full deep dives or whatever. 2 is pretty much. Oh, what was the next one? It was something specific, but we'll get there hopefully. So pretty much those are like they're like criteria, and pretty much if the person's not compatible, you're done. You can't have any more kids. Pretty much, you can't you can't have any more kids.
We gotta explain the parent-child thing.
You want me to just explain it? Because I can explain it pretty fast.
Go.
Okay, so basically, Brain Burst is a fighting game. But it's a video game that uses your like Neuralinker, so you play it with your brain. It has weirdly difficult rules for getting into it. One of the things that makes it work or makes it not work is you've had to have had a Neuralinker for your entire life. But some people just aren't compatible. It's not really understood why, but like it's a game that uses your brain. It's kind of a crapshoot. But also getting into it is weird because you basically have to download it from someone who's already playing it, which makes it like a weird pyramid scheme. The person who gives it to you is called your parent, and the person who you give it to is called your child. The thing is, you can only have one child, hence the pyramid scheme. And,
actually, pause. Okay, revelation number 2. In the beginning of Brain Burst, at the beginning of Brain Burst, apparently there was no limit to how many children you could have given the program to at the time.
Oh, that's another thing. While the game is a shadowy, nebulous thing that seems to have come out of nowhere, it still gets patches. So that happened.
Yeah.
So freaking illegal. It gets patches.
And so, like, but now with the one-child rule, if your child isn't compatible with Brain Burst, you don't get, like, a refund. No refunds on adoption. So yeah, basically it's a fighting game. It's a fighting game. The only 2 other things about it that stand out are the point system, where basically you need a certain number of points to keep playing. If your points drop to 0, the game forcibly uninstalls itself.
And wipes your memory.
And wipes your memory, which
is fucking illegal.
It's really.
Yep. And the other thing is the character creation. The character creation basically attempts to try and make an avatar based off your mental state.
Mental scars, say it.
It tries to make an avatar based off your trauma. People think that if you can't play Brain Burst, it means you haven't suffered enough or some weird shit.
It's not the case, but really.
One thing is they always say, oh, it's based off of your trauma and your mental scars. And talk about trauma and mental scars a lot in this series. The thing that they never say, which actually makes a lot more sense, is that not only is your avatar based off of your mental scars, it's based off of how you either actively or hypothetically deal with your issues. Well, we haven't really gotten to any characters yet, so I can't really bring up any examples, but I will when we get there. But basically the way that it does this is the night after you install it for the first time, it puts you through a nightmare.
Yes.
Puts you through a bunch of mental turmoil to see how you'll react. And based on how you react in that singular dream, that's what your avatar is for the rest of your time playing Brain Burst.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
So pretty much, the day after Haruyuki gets money from his parent, he goes outside, and Hiroyuki warns him not to be connected to the global net. And
speaking of parent, they're never there throughout the whole show.
Yes.
Not just Haru's, but pretty much everyone's parents in this basically don't exist.
It's like Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Pretty much.
Heathens. You only hear them in the background.
Yeah.
Like, the only time you see Haru's mom is she is literally under a bunch of covers, and she puts her hand out from under the cover and then retracts her hand, and that is the most you ever see of Haru's mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. So after that, he's not connected to the global net by his Neuralinker, and so he accidentally forgets that rule. And when he steps outside, his reality changes. He somehow winds up in the accelerated world, or at least in Brain Burst fighting mode, and he duels with, and then he's so surprised that
encounters the most enchanting, beautiful creature in existence.
Ash Roller!
Before he's in he's in his avatar state called Silver Crow. It's an armored dude. Look it up.
Henshin.
Yes, and pretty much he doesn't know what to do. He's just totally shocked about what he's seeing in his reality. Is this real? Yes. And now, yes, then he hears the humming of a motorcycle coming. Go for it.
Ash
What say you
roller.
guys?
The great and lovable ash roller. I gotta load that meme up.
The great and lovable Skeletor.
Hell yeah. So no, at this point he's basically accidentally wandered into his first fight, which
Yes.
is against some dude who looks really fucking scary. He's like basically a biker with a giant, I think it's a chopper, and he wears a skull helmet.
He's basically Skullman, the character that Kamen Rider was inspired by, which is because it's by the same guy who created Kamen Rider.
We're
Yeah.
actually probably going to be bringing up Kamen Rider a lot because there's a lot of weird similarities to Kamen Rider in this series.
Yeah.
Like we made a lot of like there's a lot of characters that look like tokusatsu characters, like the way they're designed.
And
Sure.
honestly, basically in Frame Burst you get a special power which Haru hasn't discovered yet. And when he starts discovering his power for the entire first season, he basically uses a special attack that is irritably similar to a Rider kick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does like the Rider kick, Rider punch, Rider flying. Because by the way, there is a Kamen Rider that can fly. He's called Sky Rider.
Oh, cool. So basically, Haru encountered. Oh yeah, so basically, Ash Roller is supposed to be intimidating, but what he's actually doing is playing a fighting game because Brain Burst is a fighting game. So he just happens to like challenge Haru to a duel, and unfortunately, in Brain Burst, when anyone challenges you to a duel, you immediately accept it. You don't get to choose. And the reason why this is an option is because Brain Burst has a weird side effect where it accelerates how fast your thoughts run, which is why it's called Accel World. So basically, I don't remember how it works, but like
Pretty much acceleration means you get everything around you slows down to a crawl as you can do like more work. You use up your brain. You use a thing called burst points that you gain through fighting or fighting enemies. I'll get there. And pretty much you can use that in real life if you happen to say the word burst link. You can like freeze everything around you because somehow the Neurolinker and Accel and the Accelerated World of Brain Burst, it connects to the glow. It connects with all
you
the.
want me to do this part?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
No, what I was talking about is I don't remember the exact correlation to how many seconds it is inside the Brain Burst program to how many seconds it is outside the Brain Burst program.
It depends how long you are. It can only do it for like a minute out here is like 30 or an hour or whatever,
Yeah.
depending, something like that.
That's what I was talking about. What Jay was talking about is actually if you have the Brain Burst program installed, it can give you special powers you can use outside of the video game, mostly slowing down time. That comes up pretty much very soon in the series.
Yes.
Right now, what I was saying is the reason why you can't turn down challenges from other players is because when you're challenged by another player, you're input into the game and time slows down. So while it sounds annoying, if someone challenges you to a fight and you have a quick fight with them, that's only ends up being like maybe a minute in real life.
You essentially must have really good reaction time, otherwise you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
What? Hmm?
Like you gotta like think really fast with it, like using the
Reaction to what?
like like with the fucking brain burst, like with the fucking fuck. My brain's going faster than my mouth.
You got it.
Right.
Go for it.
Like the world.
Like god damn it, like you gotta think really fast, fuck. Ah.
Are you talking about what Kiryuki Hime said to Haru?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's also a random thing in Brain Burst where a lot of there are incredibly variable powers and abilities that each character can have, based on your mental state. There's one guy who's a giant screw who has the ability to turn into a giant robot, but only if there is metal lying around that he can use.
That's a special gauge for his avatar.
So according to just call it
No
Kirihiki.
black.
Uh, yeah, her
Yes.
online name is Black Lotus. According to Black Lotus, it doesn't basically because of how variable all these things are. It boils down to none of them mattering, and the most important aspect of Brain Burst is how fast you can react. That's more important than how much damage you're attacking.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go with. My brain was going faster than my mouth.
It's cool.
Okay. Okay, so since
So yeah, basically at this point, Haru gets attacked by Ash Roller because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he gets his ass kicked.
yes,
Yeah.
But while he's getting his ass kicked, people are watching. Maybe
the
even
gallery.
the gallery is watching. Maybe even Curry.
The peanut gallery.
And also,
The peanut gallery.
He's actively getting his ass kicked, so he knows what's happening. So after this all happens, he's able to tell Black Lotus about it, Kariki Hime, and she's basically able to formulate a plan with him about how Astrol's avatar works and how he can stand a better chance finding him next time. As this is happening, I think Haru's bully shows up, maybe because Black Lotus invited him, and I don't exactly remember why, but he's basically talking a bunch of shit to Haru in the middle of the senior classroom. And Chiriki Hime instigates Haru talking shit back.
To the bully.
Yeah. And so as he's about to get punched in the face, she reveals to Haru the thing that Jay was talking about, where they can basically speed up time. And so they both speed up time because they're both set up. They're able to
they slow down time, not speed up.
Oh, my bad. They slow down time.
Yes.
But because their perception is both sped up for themselves, they're able to appear out of their bodies as like game
Their
avatars
avatars
to each other. And Haru's like, okay, so what are you saying? I can like use this to beat the shit out of him? And she's like, maybe, because like it doesn't make you stronger; it just makes you fast. So like that's like something that I was thinking about, where it's like, even if you like sped up, if you were fighting a dude who's like twice your size and they grab you, there's not a whole lot you can do by just thinking about it fast.
So he got lucky with this.
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't, because he didn't fight back. Because Kiryu was like, instead of fighting back, you can take the punch, and then you can fall backwards into me, and I'll make it look really bad. And because of my social status, he'll get expelled, and you won't have to worry about him anymore.
And he
so
does.
That's exactly what they fucking do.
Yeah.
I think at this point, actually, the school security rushes in, and they're like fucking stacked. They have like body armor and rifles, maybe.
Yeah.
I could be embellishing. I don't remember, but I remember that there was like
they came in and arrested his ass.
They're like, you hurt the princess. Time to get him.
pretty much.
Body.
So after this, Kiryu is like, well, that's one problem done. Now you're gonna go beat up Ash Roller because you need some birth points. By the way, every time you get into a fight in
well, your mic is shutting down.
oh crap.
You were like sounding really muffled and quiet.
My bad. I nudged it. Because basically every time you get into a fight in Brain Burst, it costs a set amount of birth points to enter the game, and when you're fighting, you either lose a bit for losing a fight, or you gain a bunch for winning a fight. And the idea is that you have to keep like playing the game to stay in the game. So Haru just started out, and he immediately lost, which is not great for him. So he needs a couple wins, or he's not going to be able to play anymore. So basically, Karaki's like, it's not a great strategy, but by how you describe this dude, he's basically a new player like you who got a motorcycle and then put all of his experience points into his motorcycle. So if you like get one good hit on him, you can run away to like a rooftop or something where his bike can't go and just wait out the clock. It's a really bitch strategy, but it would work.
It doesn't work.
Exactly what Haru does, except because Ash Roller beat him. By the way, they leave school, and the moment they leave school, they connect back to global net, the internet, and Haru is able to challenge Ash Roller again.
Mhm.
But because Hash Roller beat Haru last time, he was got enough points to level up to level 2, and immediately spent that money on his motorcycle, and now his motorcycle can use rockets to climb walls.
Yeah.
So the plan doesn't work. And Haru gets all sad because he wants to be useful to Karyuki because, I don't know, he just wants people to like him.
Hmm.
And he's
Hmm.
like, if I lose over and over again, I'll eventually I'll lose access to this game, and it's like the one thing I got going for me right now. So, and he also thinks like the other thing he's got going for him right now is his relationship with Kiryuki Hime, but she keeps things really close to the chest. So he's pretty much convinced right now that like she only wants to hang out with him because there's a possibility he'll be good at this game, and if he like loses access to this game, she'll stop being friends with him. So he kind of like panics for a second, and then like swallows the panic and is like, "Ah, shut up! I'm good at video games. I can figure this out. What do I do?" And then he randomly decides that Accel World is a very, really like realistically made program, which thankfully it is, because he decides that if a motorcycle is rear wheel drive in the real world, then a motorcycle's a rear wheel drive in the virtual world. And he picks up Ash Rider's motorcycle, basically rendering it useless because it
so
can't move anymore.
so he's glad. So he's lucky that logic from the real world, like happens to be the same in the game. So
And because Astroler dumps all of his points into his bike, his actual like avatar is weak as crap. So Haru just punches him or something until he runs out of health and wins the fight.
bye bye, Common Rider Skull, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't exactly remember what happens after that. It might just be no wait. Haru and Kariki Hime go to basically some like food joint to go and celebrate.
Well,
Um,
yes. Okay. Hold. Are we? So we're just gonna do every? Are we really gonna go through every single episode? That would take some time.
I mean,
Oh, I'm just going through the highlights. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the first, but at this point we're gonna start bouncing around pretty fast.
That's
yeah,
fine.
because yeah, it took like when we did Common Rider, I pretty much paraphrased all the episodes, not given enough fucking like lore about the show.
Mm,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you guys are right. I'll probably give you too much information, but I can
that's
finish this part
fine.
up real fast.
Okay.
Basically, they go to a thing where Kariki reveals what her plans are. Basically, she's saying that the overarching goal of basically the series is that you can air quotes win at Brain Burst if you get to level 10. The problem is when you get to level 9, the only way to advance is to beat 4 or 5 other level 9 characters. And if you beat them, or any match against these two characters is a death match, and whoever loses, their game forcibly uninstalls, and they forget they ever
Yes.
had Brain Burst. So
Mhm.
there were like 4 other level 9 people who all got to level 9 at the same time alongside Kiriki Hime, and they were like, we don't want to fight or kill each other
Six.
because we're all friends, and why don't we just like make a bunch of guilds, and then we'll just keep playing the game that way, and we won't fight each other. And Kiriki Hime was like, get good, scrubs, and stabbed one of them in the back.
pretty much.
And
So there's so yeah, they pretty much made like different legions. Like hey, we're a council of kings. We got these different like territories. So yeah, you rule over that district. You rule over that district. We have a treaty that we keep the peace. Kiryuki Hime, fuck that shit.
It's like
Griefs one of
that.
them and pretty much says like fuck you guys, give him the finger and
Like,
get just like
I choose
so
violence
Kiryu
today.
Kishime basically goes into hiding after that. Like, there's more stuff that happens in the books, but really quickly she goes into hiding. Because A, everyone wants her head now, and B, she doesn't actually know how to feel about basically making her entire friend group hate her. So that was
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, if I do this, none of you like me anymore. I didn't expect that. Um, and
Yeah.
so she's basically been looking for more people to play with ever since and found Haru. Um, so she's basically hoping that they can get things back on track and beat the game. Because if they beat the game, they get to meet the creator of the game. And like the moment I found out that this was in the same universe as SRL, I would just sort of like Harry Potter with the sorting hat, and I'm like, not Kirito, not Kirito.
Would be
No,
hilarious. It would be freaking hilarious if Kirito created the Accel World games. I mean, it takes place like what, like 20 years after SAO. So
40, I don't know.
You was expecting Garrett, but it was me.
But yeah, that's
Elizabeth.
basically the intro of
Something.
Accel World. After that, they basically don't talk about that ever again. And it becomes an episodic sort of like arc of the season thing. And the arc for the rest of the season is actually that the other reason that Karayuki Hime decided that she wanted Haru's help is because someone found out that she goes to school there and keeps challenging her to try and beat her for burst points in Brain Burst. And basically they're using some sort of weird technique and they can't figure out who it is. So they need Haru's help. And basically as it goes on, it's they think it's, what's her actual name? It's not
Chiyuri.
They think it's Chiyuri, and so basically Haru has to go and see if it is, and he basically has to initiate cable linking with her, which is this nebulous thing where you basically just use a physical connection to interact with each other's neurolinkers.
And culturally, it's more like, hey, couples do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then like they start doing it literally all the fucking time as the series goes on, and I'm like, I don't know if this holds water, but it's couples only, because it seems like.
And the way they're positioned, it looks like they're do some stuff. Yeah. And so
and that also begins this really awkward character arc of Tsuyuri, where she's basically like, she's been going out with, like, basically they've been friends since they were kids. She's been going out with Takumu for like the last 5 years, and apparently at some point during that point, she decided that she doesn't actually like dating Takumu and would much rather date Haru. So it just creates this weird dynamic between her and Haru where she keeps making these awkward passes at her. But again, because she's so passive, she never actually tries to ask him out. She just like awkwardly flaunts around him, and it's just sort of, I think it's weird. So she's doing that the whole time. Not the whole time. She's doing that half the time while he's trying to go through her like phone book, basically. And the other.
Yeah, go through her files, and then they find out that she has a backdoor file, aka a virus via wiretapping. And more illegal shit.
Yeah, more illegal shit, everyone.
It was a sell by your boyfriend. Oh, the other thing that she was doing for half the conversation was like lamenting over how their friendship has changed, which is like the other 50% of her character. So basically, they find out Takumu did it, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna have to confront Takumu." And then they almost get hit by a car because the bully that they took care of in the first arc decides to try to murder them.
Yes.
Which is when Shiriaki Hime reveals another ability where she's able to use a obscene amount of burst points to effectively become the Flash for a minute and move faster than thought, and pushes Haru out of the way and gets hit by a car.
And this is near a bootleg McDonald's, by the way.
McDonald's.
The McDonald's.
The Whack-Donald's.
The poor McDonald's.
After that, they go to the hospital, and Haru is just sort of like, "Well, that sucks. I hope she lives." And then he's like, "Wait, if she's here, that means that whoever's been trying to murder her, like virtual, and steal all of her points, at school, will show up here trying to beat her while she's unconscious."
Yep, she's a sitting duck.
And she doesn't have any like burst points left, so it's probably going to be like one fight, and then she's out of the game. And so he can't let that happen. So he basically stays there all night, activating the game whenever anyone walks in the door and challenging them to a fight if they have a avatar, which some of them do. And then eventually Takumu comes in. He's like, "Oh man, my friend's here." He's like, "Oh wait, why is my friend here? I didn't call him." And it turns out that Takumu's the villain.
It was me all along.
And so they both enter they both burst link Henshin. So we got the transformations inside the game. So yeah, we got Silver Crow, and here is Scion Pile looking like freaking Kamen Rider Oja and Guy done a fucking fusion, and he's got
one of those pile drivers from Bloodborne.
Yeah, he's got and and his fucking weapon is a giant pile driver. Just like, hey, he's gonna shoot out a fucking stake that just extends. So yeah, AKA call him the Penetrator.
Ah,
At that point,
Really?
they fight, and at that point, Takamu reveals that he's kind of caught on that Cherry likes him more, and that he's almost a little bit resentful of the relationship they have. He like starts saying some crazy bullshit, and basically kicks the shit out of Haru, and Haru's like, "Man, I'm gonna lose," and then he randomly finds Kihime's avatar, basically unconscious because she can't fight back, and he's like, "I can't lose."
Yes. So
Ah!
yeah,
And then
she's like pulling like a Sleeping Beauty kind of thing, and he.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he basically activates his powers and learns that he can fly.
He's
So
the first avatar with aviation ability. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
He's the only one that can fly.
fly like an eagle. Okay, well, crow. Anyway, so.
I like the crow.
But he basically goes back up to fight Takamu, and they do some cool anime bullshit. But basically, what happens in the end is Haru grabs Takamu by the chest and flies him 50 feet in the air, and is like, "If I drop you from here, you'll die. I win." And Takamu was like, "Yes, that is true." And he's like, "Cool. So how about you stop being a piece of shit and instead join my team and do what I say?" And he's like, "That seems adequate, yeah."
That seems fair, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna drop you. Okay, join my team. Alright.
There's a lot more theory than that, and it's a lot more like meaningful. But we gotta get the show on the road. At that point, Kike or whatever miraculously wakes up and is like, "Holy shit, you can fly! This is fucking awesome!" And she goes and looks over at like the wreck that is Takamu. Is like, "Who's this loser?" So she basically demands that Haru picks her up, and she flies before the peanut gallery and is like, "By the way, I'm the Black King," and she like drops her avatar's disguise and shows off that she basically looks like a Murakuma unit from Blaze Blue.
With blade arms and saying, "This is war."
Yeah, she basically is like, "I've been hiding for the last 5 years because there's a price on my head. Also because I feel really guilty that I hurt my friends. I'm not gonna say that part out loud. So I'm back, bitches. You guys' ass is on the line, and I'm coming for you."
I'm back. The Queen of Legal.
That's season 1.
Hmm?
Well,
That's
legal.
season 1 of Accel World.
No, that's like
Well,
the first 5 episodes.
So that, and I'll take over from here for this point on. And if you're wondering why I'm not saying anything, we're just going through the highlights. I will then go into detail about other things about this show that has never.
Oh wait, did
We
that
got
thing with the
into
red thing happen in season 1?
Hmm?
Never mind,
We'll
I
get
was
to-
wrong. That's not season
Yeah, we're going to get to the Red King next. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And-
Where more of the illegal shit happens.
Yeah. So pretty much after the declaration, and then Takamu apologizes to Chiyu, and they break up, and then after that, the three decide to try to bring back their friendship in the real life. But Chiyu's oh no, I can't even explain that right now. But pretty much after that, Taku and Haru join forces as a team to battle. They battle a lot of enemies to get burst points at this point because Takamu feels guilty and he's going to help out Silver Crow to be more established with what to do. Then
Technically,
Haru
this
said,
should have been Kayuki Hime's job, but she's in the hospital.
yeah, she is still in the hospital recovering. So pretty much then Haru gets enough points to say, "Oh, I get to go up to level 2." He stupidly pushes the button, and then Taku tries to stop him. It doesn't work, and then all the burst points he's accumulated, like 200, has gone down to 8, which is bad because you're supposed to wait to level up until you get an appropriate amount of points to be back in a kind of balance, so it doesn't go that low. Because if you are level 2, that basically means anyone that's a level 2 and up can, at that point, could just probably kill you and get all your burst points and you're done. So they have to decide to find a way to get all his burst points back, and then they come to the bouncer. And if you're wondering why they don't go to Kiriyuki, it's because she's pretty much. But and I will go into that more in the back end of this episode. But pretty much all you need to know, they hire a bouncer who was a cool ass character.
I completely forgot about this arc. I really should have gone faster.
The
My
one with
bad.
the one with the water chick.
Yes, her name is
Chaos!
Current.
Where she
Oh.
also where she like she helps him bring back his points as well as wipe his memory. Also fucking illegal.
Okay, look. She
All
okay.
the illegal shit is
Okay.
here.
Yes. At the end, Haruyuki's able to get the points back. Then she bows him again because she wants like intel and just say, "I'm taking a point at you, girls." Why? Oh, I just wanted to scare you. Fuck you. So pretty much.
Actually, pretty much the real reason she decided to wipe his memory is because he saw her face and wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, well, more or
Oh,
less.
no,
I'll explain
no.
it later. But pretty much, she does wipe his memory for a bit, so he doesn't remember except the fact that he met someone to get back his points.
He does this using magic powers we'll talk about later.
Yes, okay. So that's the 2-episode arc. And along with in this anime, Takumu also battles Kuroyuki Hime because he feels guilty and she says he just wants to be a friend. Get over it. And that's
Yeah.
very quickly. And okay, before we continue to the to Scarlet Rain's arc, any questions?
I actually forgot two things that I maybe should have brought up.
Go.
I brought up that there was basically things where people would just like be kind of stupid, and that was the plot, and it was actually really good. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is that before Kuroyuki Hime and Haru got hit by the car, there was a feeling that Kuroyuki Hime was just using Haru because she's pretty and he'll do whatever he says.
That's
This
only
is a
because
direct-
Chiyu got in his head as well, and then
Yeah, this is a
all that
direct
shit.
in the episode because Chiri's worried about it, and then Haru gets worried about it. And then as they're about to get hit by the car, Kuroyuki Hime goes, it occurs to me now that I'm about to fucking die that I have a massive crush on you, and it's made it hard to be upfront with you about anything. So I'm just gonna say that now so I can stop being awkward around you. And I'm like, that's actually a good fucking reason to be really fucking aloof with someone, is if you have a massive crush on you and it makes it hard to talk to them.
Yes.
Also, when
It was also like their
Hime-
potential last moments.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Kuroyuki Hime was fighting Takumu, like you were just talking about, I'm skipping ahead. She was doing it to try and, because he was basically Takumu was basically out of it because he went crazy because he was about to lose access to
Rainburst.
brain burst. And the reason that mattered is something we didn't explain. He was using it in real life to cheat at kendo.
Mhm.
Forgot to bring that up. My bad.
That's cool.
So he was basically using it to enrich his normal life, and he was about to lose access to that, and it drove him a little bit mad. Apparently, also in the book, he got access to some basically virtual steroids that put him into virtual roid rage. So basically, he just tears a path to destruction through his adventures. And afterwards, he has to come clean about it all, and his girlfriend breaks up with him, and he's actually pretty ashamed of everything he did, and she just can't let it go. So basically, Kyuhime fights him to try and make him let it go, and it works. And he's like, "Man, you're really wise. How did you know to do that?" She's like, "Oh, I did something similar once, but I didn't know if it actually applied to your situation. So I just started yelling some shit at you, and I hoped it worked. And it worked!" And I'm like, "Okay, I buy that."
I can buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Just yell at him about Sergeant Hartman style.
Pretty much.
Right.
That was it. That was all I forgot to bring up.
All right. So pretty much after that, we go to the next arc called the Armor of Catastrophe arc, which is like the last 5 episodes of the first season, and that pretty much revolves around a cute little girl busting in on Haruyuki's his house.
Breaking it. Okay. So here's all the felony. Sorry. Yeah, mom let her in, and here's multiple crimes that this little bitch committed. So, breaking and entering, or like home invasion, fucking impersonating a family member and essentially threatening who's ever in the fucking home. So, yeah, and I'm showing off.
Spoiler alert: he is not his cousin.
Yeah, she posed as a cousin, not his cousin. So yeah. Also, I just put up the beam of Haruki's face in front of church, saying, "Wait, that's illegal."
This is where the meme started.
Okay, so the character's name is named Unico. She is like 11 years old, And pretty much, she is the second Red King of the Red Legion prominence, and she has a volatile personality. She has an angel side to be cute, but her real personality is one who will
Fire,
curb stomp you, shoot you, anything to kick your ass.
cut your nuts off.
Murder
Yeah.
you.
She is the trope of fiery redhead.
Yes,
He is
and
the second
Yeah.
Red King because Yukihime killed the first one. That was the first
yes,
one killed when she lost
Yeah.
her friends.
yes, yes.
He
So
was
pretty
apparently a
much,
pretty cool dude too.
yes. But after pretty much after, and honestly, I'm avoiding that perverse little key moments of perversity, sadly, because it's a kid show. It's for like teenage
They're
boys.
anime
So
tropes. Let's gloss over them.
yeah, we're
Let's
glossing over that shit.
Yeah, because it's very unnecessary and very gratuitous. So let's skip that shit.
Yeah, but pretty much, the Red King fights Silver Crow. He thinks he could win, but he doesn't.
Figures out that she's not.
She's a
his
fuck.
relative.
She goes from this little
And then-
robot to a
Oh,
massive fucking unit of a fortress,
Yes,
Kotaku!
a fucking tank.
yes, yes. So he fights her, and he thinks he can win. He cannot win. She was able to like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much he's about to. So yeah. Silver Crow's about to do the fucking rider kick. She steps. She steps to the side like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. No.
Because, like,
can
Like
you,
points the
right?
gun in his head and is like, "Will you do what I say now?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay."
Like a literal gun to his head. Well, like figurative in the real world, literally in the game. So.
Yeah.
And then at school, after because previously when this was happening, he contacted Black Lotus, and then and then he tells her what happened at school, and then Takamu's also involved, and he explains the situation, and then Takamu pretty much says it's lucky that you were able to figure out that she was the Red King, because there's a possibility that you would have probably fell for her cutesy act and everything to be transferred over to her legion to do something, and that would be bad because there's something called the Judgment Blow that all Legion Masters have as a kind of last resort if someone is like doing something not supposed to, and they just kick him out of the accelerated world forever. Judgment Blow.
Also, he's talking with Takamu about Kirihime about what to do about her demand. Her demand is to meet his Legion Master in real life.
Which is forbidden. It's taboo, and honestly, you're not really supposed to see each other in the real life because it's a total effort. It's a total thing that you do not want to get cracked in the wheel, because even though your avatars are strong, you are still like a teenager and a kid.
So doxing is taboo.
Yes,
Like it
And-
should be.
yes, yes. And pretty much.
Fuck you, So yeah, pretty much here. All right, Chris rant. Fuck you, who dox people. Fuck you. Rant over.
Yeah. All right. So pretty much, take a shot if I say pretty much. All right, this was in the book or something. Just take a shot. I don't care.
We're already doing a drinking game of how many times we say that's illegal. So yeah.
A funny moment between that whole situation was after Takamu explains about the whole figuring out her deal and everything. Kiriyuki's like, "Oh, it's not like anyone would ever fall for such things," and Haruyuki just starts crying. She just says, "Why are you crying? I'm just so sad. I mean, that poor girl's getting bullied. It was made up, Haruyuki. How can you be an idiot? Why would you fall for this secret trap? Anyone can figure it out." And or whatever. It's okay. And and after that, they meet each other in the wheel, and it's like lightning and water or something. It just doesn't work between Kirihime and Nico because polar opposites. One's a teenager, the other's 11. But eventually, they're able to make nice. Though, they spend the night at Haruyuki's house to his surprise, which does not end anytime soon in this series.
No.
Basically, because Haru's parents are never home, it becomes his house becomes their clubhouse.
Pretty much.
Their base of operations.
Yes, and honestly, and I'll say this as a spoiler alert: Unico that is not the last time Unico stops coming over to his house.
I mean, she found a stash of retro video games, and she didn't beat Resident Evil 2 in the one night she stood over. So
Yes.
she has to finish it.
He's like,
And apparently their copy of Resident Evil 2 is co-op. So
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
So pretty much getting back on track. Unico tells them about how the armor catastrophe is back, even though it's supposed to be destroyed. There's a flashback via direct link that Kiriki Hime and the other kings of Pure Color were able to defeat the previous incarnation of the armor of catastrophe, and it looked different due to the
During
fact.
the flashback, basically everybody plugs into Kirihiki's brain computer and view her memory like a video file.
Yes. And then they see the destruction of the last of the fourth Chrome disaster, and then after that, it's Nico reveals that her parent. Well, she doesn't say it, but the person who's part of her team. Oh God, he's the new fifth Chrome disaster, and they need to stop him because it's breaking the non-aggression treaty that all the kings did like 3 years ago or
To
whatever.
explain the whole Chrome disaster concept, effectively, something happened to a player early on in the game, and basically all of the gamer rage and like anger they felt, because the game is basically linked into your brain, transcended the game, and injected itself into a game item that will possess whoever holds it and turns them into venom.
it's basically
Yes.
Venom. It's just Venom.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
and like start
Um,
whispering things in your ear, and it basically just tries to crank up your aggression until you basically lose your goddamn mind and
Yes.
start
Dang.
killing everything that moves. Also,
Yeah.
it gives you a massive power boost that basically makes your character broken and unbeatable.
Yes.
But like a symbiote from Venom.
Yes, yes.
So
Um,
the problem right now is that one of the people who the Red King is responsible for put on the Venom suit, and is now just going ham on anything that moves. And that breaks
Yeah.
the non-aggression treaty. So war is going to break out unless she can hunt down and get this dude. But her, as you've seen earlier, her entire fighting strategy is basically stand still and don't move. And this guy can basically web swing like Venom. She can't.
He literally just He literally just like swings around like Venom. Like he's got a fucking cable and swings through the city, which like the location they're at looks like fucking Coruscant at night.
Yeah.
So her whole plan is to basically force Silver Crow to help her because he can fly.
Yeah. so
You gotta
They-
help me.
yes. So after that, they go into the unlimited neutral field, which is the real version of what the accelerated world looks like. It's
yeah.
where there is no time, and you can just stay there effectively forever if you want,
It's like the hyperbolic time chamber, but in your mind.
and no
It is
time.
a new area of the game where like
Yes.
the things of the game are like pretty much the entire game's AR, but so there may actually not be any kind of difference, but like basically when you play Billion Burst regularly, you're in a stage and you can only go around that stage. In the unlimited neutral field, you can virtually circumnavigate the
And the stage at this time is just Coruscant from
Yes.
from Star Wars.
Coruscant
So-
with black instead of gold.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and after that, Silver Crow, Black Lotus, Scarlet Rain, and Cyan Pile head off to try to find and get ahead of the armor of catastrophe, but they are stopped by the Yellow King named Yellow Radio
Yeah,
and his
this
cronies,
this sass clown.
literally.
Hey, Joker, Team Rocket.
It's Joker, Team Rocket. You might not think him. He's a level 9 king. He runs all of Akihabara. It's a thing. So there's a big battle, and Nico's like, "You bastards! You bastards!" And there's a big fight. Takamu sacrifices himself because that's what his character does. He's gonna always sacrifice himself. He's
Right.
out.
It's also implied that since the armor catastrophe is an in-game item, after Kiyuki Hime and her friends destroyed it, the idea is that it's implied that the Yellow King lied about not having it and held on to it for the specific purpose of giving it to someone so it would corrupt them. So
Because
it's
he's an ass
implied
clown.
that Yellow King set this all up.
He just wants chaos, like the
Yeah.
Joker.
Yes.
Because he's an ass
Um,
clown.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Pennywise, whichever one you want to go.
and he doesn't stop there because then he shows a video file of how Black Lotus got rid of Red Rider, the first Red King, and it puts her in a mode called Zero Fill, where the soul of your soul and mind are not linked to your avatar, and it just falls to the ground, can't move. So they're down one character. Takamu tries to take out some, and he does, but he sacrifices himself. Then
Essentially, it's an emotional blue screen of death.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically, if you start having a panic attack or something, you lose the ability to mobilize your character.
Exactly. So it's Silver Crow and Scarlet Rain trying to take out like all the enemies. But one of them, another small thing, it was Silver Crow's trying to learn how to dodge bullets or something because he's getting shot down. Yes. Getting shot down because they figured out his strategy and he has to learn how to deal with dodging bullets or whatever.
Like trying to dodge snipers and shit. And so yeah, nobody taught him bullet time.
Yeah. Yes.
Basically, everybody has figured out that Silver Crow's ability is fly, and that a really good counter to fly is gun.
Yeah, really. That's yeah.
So everybody's
But
going duck hunting.
yeah, exactly. But after and after that, I believe after trying to figure out more bat fights that's occurring, he yells to Kirihime to get her shit together. And I think the reason she really woke up is that way he said how this certain phrase like about the Red King and herself, and then she just miraculously in a kind of God, here comes God moment, she opens up her eyes and her avatar glows and it starts floating, and then she just says something along the lines of, "How are you, Silver Crow? I think you're mistaking you think my relationship with Red Rider. You think I have feelings for him. Fool! I have feelings for you. And you're my one and only. That will never change." And then, put your hand put your hand in the ground and stop that electric attack. And he does. And then they start fighting again with Black Lotus kicking a lot of ass, and then Silver Crow learning how to figure out the sniping thing, and then uh, Yellow Radio and Black Lotus start fighting, and she just says, "I've always hated you." A lot of flashing lights. It's a lot of what's the word? And Bleach, that whole speed fighting shit or whatever.
Flash step.
Flash step or whatever. They're just flash stepping all over the place with fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, pretty much, the fight is stopped by the Arm of Catastrophe appearing, and Yellow Radio and his crew get the fuck out of Dodge, and then it just becomes a matter of these three characters dealing with this monster, and then Scarlet Rain shoots Black Lotus because I can't trust anyone, and then Black Lotus was like, "Go stop her." The reason why she's hesitating is only because of the fact that that's her parents. So go help our friend. So the girl helps her friend, and then there's like a swing and a air battle in
I can
Coruscant.
just clear this part up. Basically,
Thank you. Go.
basically, after the Yellow King's posse runs off because Venom shows up, the Red King tries to stop Silver Crow and Kirihime from hurting him because she's still like her friend, and she's like, "I'll deal with it myself." But even though they've immobilized him, he's still like Venom, and he still kicks her ass. So it falls to Haru to basically go beat Venom for her, and Haru actually starts putting up a decent fight because I guess his powers are just like sort of, they're counter to Venom because like he's hit and run and Venom is like really big and bulky. So Venom runs away, and it's at this point revealed that he does in fact use webs to get around. He does web swing.
That's not webs. That's a wire. But yes.
It's just the swinging cable. We're just calling it webs because the Venom thing.
Yes.
So at that point, Haru was like, "What if I just get in the way?" So when he's throwing out a wire to connect to a building, Haru flies in front of it, and it connects to his back. In which case, he just does the same thing he did to Takamu, and he flies up the side of a skyscraper 50 feet in the air, and then kicks him on, and then like drops Venom, and then kicks him on the way down. As
Yeah.
Venom is falling to his death, the Avatar, who's basically been corrupted by the Venom suit, pokes out of the Venom suit, and is basically like, I just wanted to play at my friend's level and still be relevant and valid to her. Is that so wrong? And then Haru like loses his shit and is like, that's all anybody fucking wants. You don't get to hurt people because you want to be stronger. You fucking pansy. And he basically rides the dude into the fucking ground.
Mm-hmm.
And out of nowhere, basically, the Red King shows up and is like, okay, thanks. I'll do the thing I have to do now.
and pretty much had him see the fucking rabbits.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It takes him out to the woodshed.
Basically, because she's like a guild leader, she has this ability where if she can enchant any attack she does with like a ban to anyone who's under her. So she basically bans the player from the game, so
It's judgment
he
blow,
won't be
dude.
affected by the armor anymore, which is good and bad because he loses all of his memories of Brain Burst, but he also loses all the psychological damage he received from Venom.
Mm.
So yeah, he saw the rabbits, Lenny.
Yeah. Yes. And then after that, there's a little transition where Coruscant leaves, and the next thing you know, we're in Legend of Zelda or whatever, Breath of the Wild.
We go from Coruscant to Hyrule.
Yeah, that's what that place is.
Basically, the transition is mostly there because on the Coruscant level, it's night all the time, and on the Hyrule level, it's day all the time. So it's like the sun came out.
So we go from a post-apocalyptic futuristic city to a beautiful landscape of green.
Green.
Then they have to check their items, their inventory to make sure that the armor's not there. They confirm it, and then they peace out. They have the thing about the unlimited neutral field is you do not log out normally. You have to physically go to a certain spot to log out to get back into your body or whatever.
Oh yeah, the thing about the armor of catastrophe is that even though it was made from an in-game item, it doesn't actually show up in your inventory anymore. It just infects your player if you beat the last Venom. So Haru technically beat him. So right before they all log out, Haru hears a deep voice in his head that basically says, "I'm hungry."
Yes. Yes.
We get to do whatever we want.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm the new Venom.
Yes.
So yeah, now he's Tom Hardy.
After that, it basically jumps to a scene where what's her name?
Just call her Nico. Niko.
Where
Yeah.
Nico has broken into his house again and has basically. Honestly, it was mildly for his benefit because she comes up and because he was like worried about what was going to happen between her and her friend, and she comes up saying that they actually ended up being friends again. He's going to move away, but they're just going to like hang out playing other video games. And since she's basically obsessed with Brain Burst, she doesn't know any other video games, so she's asking him for some recommendations. And
she also baked cookies too. So
yeah, she gave him some cookies, and he ends up being so happy by the turn of events because Haru is a fucking cinnamon roll that he just starts openly weeping, and she like gets
These
very
are the best damn cookies I've ever had.
and she gets frustrated by that because she has to control her emotions. That's how season 1 ends, I think.
You idiot!
You idiot.
Oh my god, you're embarrassing me!
But these are the best damn cookies. I can't help but cry.
Yes.
Exactly that.
Okay, so that's the end of season 1. We're going to go to season 2 and try to breeze through this as best we can.
There was one thing that I forgot to mention, and I totally forgot what it was. Never mind. Fuck.
You sure? Is it about the Arm of Catastrophe? Is it about Haruyuki Takano because he got better? Black Lotus? Yellow Radio?
I completely forgot. It might come back to me. Just keep going.
all right, now we get to season 2, and oh boy, we beat a cunt.
Yes.
Yes.
But before we meet the cunt, we have to deal with Chiyuri finally deciding, I want to play Brain Burst, so I'll tell you, just to tell you guys, this is just a game. You don't take it seriously. So, being selfish, Taku offers to give her his copy of Brain Burst and give it to her, effectively making her his protege. But she also decides to attach the Neuralink thing, physical linking with Haruyuki too, as a backup, just in case if it doesn't work with Taku, which is concerning on many fronts because she's selfish like that. And I will explain my reasons behind everything later. But
I'd like to explain three things right now, actually.
yeah,
Chie is selfish because she's willing to burn both of Haru and Takamu's version of the game just so she can try and play it.
yes,
Also, the anime changed the term parent-child to protege-guardian, so we might occasionally let that one slip out. That means the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, if you were confused earlier in the episode, Tsuyuki Hime and Black Lotus are the same person.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could either call her Kiryuki or Black Lotus or Snow Black. One of those.
Yeah.
You can put out one of those three names.
Or Queen of Legal Shit for humor.
Yes. Oh, yes. You can call her Queen of Illegal Shit. Go. It's fine.
Queen of illegal shit. Uh,
Yeah.
that gag will never get old for me for the show.
No, it's never gonna go away.
Okay.
Okay, so
okay.
we get to season 2. By the way, before we start, when we saw the new ending animation, apparently, so I decided to put on Spotify like while we're like in between episodes, and Paramore's That's What You Get started playing, and I decided to like play the ending with the song, and I'm like, it fits. So I actually made an edit and showed it off to the guys, and they were like, oh shit.
Yes, it works. It was
Like,
great.
yeah, like the first minute and a few seconds actually fit the fucking ending, the second ending, and I'm like, damn, these beats hit.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's one W I made.
Yeah, so that's the official CJM Accel World ending theme of Accel World Season 2.
Unlicensed, so.
Unlicensed, but
It's a
really
good
good.
song, though. So pretty much, I gotta say that it works on Taku's end. She's able to become his child or protege child, and she gets brain burst.
It's fucking awkward, these like the naming conventions.
I know. Yeah. Anyway, um, anyway, um, so then she bothers Haru later at night because he directs links to her house or whatever because it's the future 2047 now. Oh, it's now 2047 season 2. He
Yeah.
is he is in they are in 8th grade and Kiryuki is in 9th grade now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to get that out.
So she would be in an American equivalent of a freshman in high school.
Yes, but she's still yes.
But she's
So
still but middle
yeah.
school like pretty much 9th grade is your last year of middle school, as Japanese high schools have 3 grades, which are yeah.
I would actually prefer that. Actually, I think it would have been more. Anyway, so she was like, "I'm scared about the dream that you told me about Haru." So she's pretty much macking him for all he's worth, of talking to him just to be a soundboard or whatever. But she eventually falls asleep, and then she probably gets her avatar. A new school year happens, and then Kiryuki's doing like, Ben, can you abridge this, please? Or do you need a break?
Basically, Chiryu gets her avatar, and it's revealed that Chiyuki Hime is going on a class trip. And basically, a lot like how when she got shot in the back by Red King, it's because Kiryuki Hime is a devastatingly powerful player on this game. And sometimes they just need to write her out of the plot for a bit so there's actual tension. So basically, Kiryuki Hime is gone this season because she's on a class trip.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
A new character is introduced named Nomi. He's a one like a 7th grader, and he's a pain in the ass.
He's a
because
fucking bastard.
Everyone's
Is
got birth.
He is what we described as the Sojiro of this series. For those who don't know, Sojiro is a character in Rurouni Kenshin who doesn't have emotions at first.
Yeah. Like I got fucking vibes of him. I was like, damn, they used that one character from Verona Kenshin.
It
Yeah,
helps that he has the exact same hairstyle and an incredibly similar face, and makes
yeah,
sense.
I wouldn't be surprised if that might have been an influence.
Mm.
And a young sounding voice too, so it sounds like he hasn't dropped his balls yet.
Oh god.
He's in the Kendo. Oh, fuck! We forgot. Takumu switched over to a Mestro.
He transferred. Oh yeah, he transferred schools. He's got glasses now, and he's not using brain burst
Brain.
for for his for cheating. He's going straight and like just being fair instead of being a cheater. But during like one of the kendo matches, Nomi, he's a fucking cheater. Uses the neural link and uses like Accel burst or whatever the fuck, and just basically got the fucking force or spider sense to like win.
The cheat and win.
Nomi's a fucking cunt.
His name does not pop up on the board when they ever try to access Brain Burst. His name never pops up as his
Yeah.
avatar.
And we'll get to the
At
twist
point,
about
they have,
that. And it has and it relates to SAO.
Oh
Yeah.
At this point, we haven't actually talked about whether or not Naomi is a burst linker yet. They're trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
Basically, as they're trying to figure it out, Haru falls for basically a trap that Naomi set where it makes it look like he set a bunch of cameras in the girls' locker room and is trying to creep on them.
Oh yeah.
And the whole reason that he falls
Yeah.
for this is because basically Naomi's been like setting up dozens of similar traps all around the fucking school, trying to blackmail literally every classmate he can to do things for him.
Because he's a
Well,
fuck.
only one with Brain Burst, technically. But yeah.
Because he's a bastard. Like
He really wanted one with brain
Yeah.
burst, but I feel like because of who he is, if he blackmailed someone without brain burst, he'd still milk that.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he fucking like gave Haru a virus that switched out the locker room locker room sign. So what he thought was going to the boys' locker room was the girls' locker room, and he had to hide in the showers with Chiyu, and she's full fucking naked and having to like cover his ass because like, hey, more people are coming in and you kick him out and then we get the fucking blackmail.
Yeah, also the
Yeah.
kicker wasn't that Haru got the virus. The kicker was that Nomi
Taku.
just sold that virus on a picture of the Kendo Club in case someone was trying to like figure out what his deal was, and Taku found the picture and sent it to Haru. So it's technically Taku's fault.
Yes. And also, as well, and she is actually very prominent in this season, it's found out that her avatar is called Line Bell.
And we don't know what she does yet. Well,
It's dressed as a witch. It has a giant like bell on her right arm where Mega Man's
Left
arm.
arm.
And then with the
and
left arm.
and then it's revealed that she's a healer, and oh boy. Okay, so
Apparently rare.
when we get to the blackmail, yeah, she joins up with Nomi through the whole season. And she reveals like, I'm not doing this because I'm I'm not even under duress. I'm just doing it. I'm like, you bitch.
You and just dismissed you so much in this season. Like,
We'll
yeah,
get
okay.
there.
I was-
We will get there.
We'll get
But
to the
basically, it's revealed that he reveals to Haru that he has the blackmail, and he reveals that he knows he's a burst linker. He's like, I'm a burst linker too. So now basically you're gonna play a bunch and get a bunch of points, and then you're just gonna give those points to me by letting me beat you. And Haru's like, fuck you. And he's like, by the way, I also am somehow gonna wrap Chie up in this, and like she's also going to be my healer now, so fuck you. And then some things happen I don't like, but I feel like I should leave that alone.
I can tackle it.
What?
I can tackle
No, actually, there was the things that I don't like are Naomi like trying to lick Chihuri's face and then pulling out a cable, and that insinuates some things. And I'm
That
like, I don't
is,
like this.
yeah, it gets into very uncomfortable territory.
But yeah, I got triggered immediately by the show, and I kind of project on every show I watch, and it was reminding me of some stuff, so I was already angry. Um, but basically, after that, Haru doesn't know what to do, but he's basically don't. Basically, he's like not allowed to tell anyone. So Takamu comes up and is like, "Yo, I talked to Chie. She is out of it, and bad things are going on. What's going on?" And Haru's like, "I can't tell you." And Takamu's like, "What?" And unfortunately, at that exact moment, Venom takes over and starts talking shit at Taku about how Chiyuri probably likes Haru more than she likes Takamu, and Takamu just punches him because he's trying to help his friend and he won't be straight with him. And Haru's like, "What the fuck just happened to me?" And then he goes to sleep and he literally basically has a dream where he starts attacking Kiriyuki Hime and he's like, "What is happening to me?"
Venom, no.
It's Venom.
It's Venom.
Oh, now I'm imagining fucking Haruyuki just like being Bully McGuire for some reason. Fuck ass.
Because he has the same hair.
Like fucking Kit, like fucking Adam from Kamen Rider Dragonite. You know, Stephen Ford with the fucking black clothing and the hair.
So he tries to work it out with Chihiro, but Chihiro just sort of like basically starts acting super cold and is like, "You know what? Fuck you. Naomi's cooler anyways. I'm just gonna go hang out with him." And
That's
like,
what. Yeah, that's where Ben and I were like, "Fuck you, Chiyu."
Yeah, basically, I got really mad at it because Chiyu didn't have a whole lot of character or agency in the first season, and now it's the second season, and because it starts with her getting her dual avatar to be in Brainburst, I thought it would be like, oh, this is her season. We finally get to learn something about her. But she doesn't do anything all season, and it's like I could feel it building towards some sort of like crescendo in which Chiyuri was really important, and I just got mad at it because I'm like, instead of having her be really important in the last 5 seconds of the series or the season, I would have rather of her had an entire season of character development that she doesn't fucking get. So no matter what happens at the end, I don't care. That's what I got mad at.
Yeah, I just got mad. Like, wow, you join them because you basically just join them willingly. Like,
But but
like
without trying to spoil too much, the writing miraculously like sticks the landing and gets some pretty high marks.
we'll get
So
to.
that was very surprising.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it.
But basically, at this point, because like he can't get help from Takamu, he can't talk to Chiyuri because of she's not willing to talk to him, and he doesn't want to bother Hime because she's on her trip. He's basically alone out in the cold on this shit. And he's like, "Oh god, this is like exactly where this series started, isn't it? Because basically this entire season is a recap of the first 2 episodes." So he basically is like, "Well, I can't do anything about it. Might as well endure it." So he goes on to Brainburst to try and beat some people up for points, and he ends up fighting. Oh, we skipped something really important.
Yeah,
We
you
skipped
missed
something
that
very
part. Yes.
important.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Basically,
fine.
when Naomi was first basically threatening Chihuri and Haru,
Just
so they
follow
understood
Chi.
that he had stuff on her, Chi, so he understood that he had power over them. First, he beats up Haru in real life, and second, Haru's like, "Well, I'll fight you in Brainburst." So they fight in Brainburst, and it's revealed that Naomi has an ability to steal other people's
Naomi.
abilities from them. Naomi has an ability to steal other people's ability, and he takes Haru's wings away, and Haru can't fly anymore.
Yeah.
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 So
So
Haru
after that
has.
happened,
So yeah, Haru can't fly anymore. He's fucking useless, and he goes like, oh, "I need to learn how to fly again."
so yeah, after that happened, like literally at the moment after that happened, they go back to the real world. And Naomi's like, "I own you, bitch," and Haru just starts crying. So that was not fun. So basically, Haru's like, "Well, nose to the grindstone, I guess," and goes back onto Burstlink to get some points, and he ends up fighting Ash Roller,
Yeah.
who he can't beat anymore because he
The
doesn't have the wings.
the great and lovable Ash Roller.
I made that name because basically there was this part in Steven Universe where all the writing got really sad for some reason, but it's also the same part of the series where they introduced Peridot. So instead of caring about all the melodrama that was happening, I just focused on Peridot. And so I could feel that happening this season on an Accel World. So I'm like, I'm just gonna think about Astroller the whole time. He will be my rock.
Okay.
And the meme I flashed up, that was made by Ben. So thank him.
He will get me through this. So basically, he's fighting Astroller, and because actually a lot similarly to Astroller, whenever Haru leveled up, he dumped his points into his wings, which he doesn't fucking have anymore. So Haru's basically level 1 again. And so Astroller is like beating him easily, and Haru just starts basically sulking and crying.
And Ash
is like,
yeah,
he's like, no, you go.
He's like, what? Wait. He goes like, what the fuck? Why aren't you fighting me? This is not fun.
Yeah.
He gets like genuinely concerned about him. He's like, "What's up, little buddy? Are you okay?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I like you. I'm worried about you. I can't help you. This is out of my wheelhouse. We're gonna go meet my parent, and maybe she can help you." So they basically tandem ride his motorcycle into the
Oh.
what is it? The accelerated plane or whatever it's called, the unlimited neutral field.
Yes.
And they get to where Tokyo Tower, they say, used to be? I don't know what happened to Tokyo Tower in this story, but apparently it's not there anymore.
Well, so and this is based on like one of the opening like one of the parts of the opening, the opening animation, and it's where fucking Astroller and Haruyuki are on the bike, and Haruyuki's like behind holding up the Astroller, and they're like, okay, I ship that now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
According to Jade, there's actually like in universe some like Ash Roller Silver Crow shippers.
Oh, there's that.
In the gallery, their fights are so stupendous and great and fun. The people that watch them and follow them on on their watch list and everything, they're like shippers for. They are like hardcore shippers for Ash Roller and Silver Crow.
I can believe.
They do seem so good together. So yeah, basically Astroller activates his motorcycle's wall climbing abilities and rides up Tokyo Tower, and on top of there is actually like a little glen and a house, and inside the house is a woman who is wheelchair bound, and her name is Skyraker.
Mm-hmm.
So she basically remember how we talked about how that water girl from the first season erased some of Haru's memories with magic?
Mm-hmm.
She basically teaches Haru the magic. The magic is called what's it called?
Incarnation.
Incarnation. And it's basically becoming Neo from the Matrix. You accept that what you're in is currently a video game, and you use your imagination and your will to override the game and make it do what you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
At first, it was just like a thing to make the game easier to play, like more intuitive to your mind. But eventually, people found out that they could exploit it and supercharge their character. And instead of patching it out of the game, they just, or maybe it's not even possible to patch it out of the game, but it's basically a thing that is in the game now that high-level players are aware of. They also try to keep this information secret from low-level characters. I'm not into that because of just who I am, but it's a thing. So basically,
I guess Twitter doesn't exist in this universe.
That's what I'm saying.
World's a better place.
There's no fucking brain burst game FAQs where there's a fucking guide on intervention or whatever it's called.
Frequently
I'm bad at
asked
names, I'm
questions.
sorry, I keep forgetting it.
I get the incarnation system too, right?
Yeah.
So Fuko, I mean, Skyraker decides to train Silver Crow in Incarnation, and you think she's gonna be like hand holding? She throws him off the fucking Tokyo Tower and says, "Just learn yourself. You'll be fine."
Somebody make the
Learn,
second joke for me. I don't know that much about Tekken. Apparently nobody else does either.
What joke?
Somebody make the Tekken joke for me. I don't know enough about Tekken.
Oh yeah, because like when they go to like hey, Hachi throwing Kazuya off a fucking cliff, and then Kazuya climbing back up, beat the shit out of Heihachi, throw him off a cliff, and then Heihachi climbs back off, beats the shit out of Kazuya, throws him into a fucking volcano, and then cycle repeats. Tekken 7, Kazuya finally beats the shit out of Heihachi for the last time, supposedly, and then throws him into the fucking volcano.
Yeah.
He's probably alive. You know he's got Mobot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm back.
Skywraker pushes Haru off the top of the Tokyo Tower and just tells him use inversion to climb back up, and doesn't tell him anything more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like Yoda saying use the Force in Return, not Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, or okay, he was actually teaching Luke, but it's a little vague. But what the fuck am I saying?
But yeah, basically, Haruyuki is like, okay, so I have to like bend the game to my will. How do I do this? Well, right now, basically his thing was he was just climbing it normally, but before he could make it to the top, the scene changed from basically Hyrule back to Coruscant, and he could no longer get a grip on the skyscraper because the skyscraper is a smooth surface, and he didn't know what to do. So he's basically like, maybe if I punch hard enough, then I'll make a hole in the skyscraper. And he tried it, and it almost worked, but it didn't quite work. So he's like, maybe if I believe that my hand is like a superheated blade, I can punch into the side of the thing and make a hole that I can use as a handhold. And he does that, and his hand starts to glow, and he punches the side of the thing and makes a dent. And he's actually able to like basically make an energy sword on the tips of his fingers.
He's got a hand lightsaber now.
Yeah, that he can use to try to climb the building. And after testing it for like an hour or two to make sure it's working, he starts climbing again.
Well, and it takes 5 days, 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, the entire process takes 4 to 5 days. And when he's back at the top, Skywraker's like, "Good job, you learned it."
You learned it, boy.
And yeah, I think she talks about it more, and it's basically like she's saying that it's basically like you trying to use your will and interact with the game and make it do things for you. And if you do it and you believe in yourself, then it can create positive reinforcement in your psyche. And she was saying that she was doing it, and she failed because she, in the end, just couldn't believe in herself enough. I guess, I don't know. It was confusing and vague, which I guess psychology kind of is in the real world. So I guess it makes sense. So basically, she's like, "Go forth and kick much ass." Oh no, but she's also like, so the entire point of this was that I have a jetpack that's like level 9, and you're not supposed to be able to refill the fuel gauge, but using incarnation, you can force the fuel gauge to refill itself. And if you take advantage of that, like I used to do, you can kind of fly. So I'm gonna lend you my jetpack so you can deal with your problems, and then afterwards you can give back to me, okay? And Haru's like, okay, and she's like, but
They gotta do this in the real. He has to, yeah. So
they go
after
in real life and they meet, and there's some weird noises coming from her, like, I don't know, lower leg area. And
Yeah,
he realizes that,
yeah, she's an amputee with prosthetic legs.
Cybernetic prosthetics, yeah. So he's like, damn, well, I see why your avatar was the way that it is. And she's like, actually, I thought that if I cut off my legs in the virtual world, then I'd be more, like, it would become more of a necessity for me to believe in my ability to fly. So I forced a friend of mine to cut my legs off, much to her psychological damage.
Yes.
And I regret it every day because our relationship is dead now. And Haru's like, who is that? And she's like, it was Kiyuki Hime. And Haru's like, I'm pretty sure if you went back to her, she'd immediately want to hang out with you again. I don't think your relationship is dead. So after that, he like goes back to school and he sees Takamu doing some shit. And basically, Takamu has found out that Nomi is holding she and Haru virtually hostage and challenges him to a fight. And Takamu gets his ass kicked because, as it turns out, Naomi knows how to do.
Naomi.
I'm saying Nomi. It just comes out Naomi. Shush.
This is this is the second thing in media where there's a character named Nomi. The first, like, when I think of a character named Nomi, I think of the character from fucking Showgirls.
Oh god.
God.
Oh,
that piece of shit.
Oh yeah, but basically, Nomi just like basically summons energy swords and beats the crap out of Takamu, and Haru's like, "Hey, Nomi, since you're just gonna beat me up and take my points anyways, how about you let me sub in for Takamu and you can take both our points? And Nomi's like, okay. And Haru's like, ha, surprise, bitch, I know intervention 2, whatever it's called, and pulls out his own fucking lightsaber and stabs him in the chest. I think at this point, she gets on and heals Nomi.
Yes.
And my hatred grew even further.
And Chris's hatred grew 3 sizes that day.
I was fucking pissed.
And then you would think the episode would continue on in the next episode. No, we're gonna go to see how Kyoyuki Hime's doing on her vacation with her cousin.
We're going to a beach episode up in Okinawa.
Yay!
But at this point, me and Chris were kind of foaming at the mouth, and maybe this was going to help us not have a stroke.
not have this part turn me into the fucking Hulk. So.
And it did. It was actually a pretty fun story. So.
What it
Remember
was
how it goes?
So she's up in we get the obligatory beach episode with Kiryuki Hime and her friend. What was her name? Megami. Yeah. So and possibly in lesbians with her. They're hanging out and apparently there was like 2 other like burst linkers that are like fucking elementary school age or some shit.
They were middle school.
Yeah, Kiryuki Hime and Megami basically are trying to have a fun time on their vacation, and I think Megami talks about being in the book club and having a book she can't remember.
Yeah.
And then she also talks about how how books can be your own secret world, and how she feels like sometimes Kiryuki Hime is in her own secret world and that she doesn't hang out with her as much, especially since she started hanging out with Haru and how much she misses her. And Kiryuki Hime is like, you are my best friend since who's in the same grade as me, and I love you. And You're right, I am totally doing all that shit, and I'll try to do it less. But because we're on vacation right now and Haru isn't here, let's just have a day together. And so they go out and try and basically get souvenirs for each other that they'll give each other once they get back to Japan.
And it's a chill few episodes in this arc,
Except then what Chris was saying happens and those 2 kids show up who are fellow burst linkers and they challenge Hime to a fight.
One looks like a freaking Guyver and the other looks like a mermaid ranger thing.
Yes.
They are both female and younger than Hime, and after they fight for a bit, they're like, man, you're really good at this. We have a problem. Can you help us? And Hime is like, I mean, okay. And basically, it's revealed that since Brainburst is an AR game, where you are in the world when you log in matters immensely. And if you have the game installed, but you say move somewhere where there's not a large player base, you basically have no one to play with.
Yeah, so there's a great population in the Tokyo area. Okinawa, population of 3 so far.
Yeah, and basically that population was started by one dude from Tokyo moving there, giving the game to his cousin, and his cousin gave it to her friend, and that's all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is the population. Literally, it is fucking desolate. The only other population are just AI. There was a fucking robot that was That's
the thing I forgot to bring up. That's the thing I forgot to bring up.
Yeah.
In the accelerated neutral field, there are NPC enemies.
Yep, there's NPC. Yeah, there's NPCs. So when we meet up with the burst linker, what the fuck was his name? He's the screw. So he's in this small bar drinking his ass off, despite him being 16.
Yeah, that's what the girls went to go talk to Kiryuki Hime about. They go to talk to her about it, and she's like, "You're doing this all wrong. You're not supposed to meet in the real world." And they're like, "You're the only other person we've ever met."
Crimson Kingbolt. That's his name. Crimson Kingbolt.
And basically, they say they have a problem where there's this one dude who doesn't seem to live around here, but keeps showing up on the server, and they're basically using the NPCs to fight with, and they can't figure out how to deal with it. Even their parent can't figure it out. And they're like, well, let's go meet your parent, and that's the scene you're describing. They go and meet him.
Yeah, they go meet the parent, Crimson King Bolt, and yeah, he's drinking his
I'm
ass
thinking.
off, and
He's drinking virtual tequila, which apparently still works.
apparently it gets you.
Yes.
Apparently you can still get drunk in the fucking virtual world. Yeah, yeah, it's that intuitive. And then like they have a conversation, and like, how did it go?
Hiroyuki Hime actually knew him from before,
Oh,
and he knew her,
oh yeah, yeah, right. Fuck.
and he's basically like, he's like, there's nothing we can do at this asshole. He's basically taken a world boss and tamed it, and like, even if you find one person, they're not gonna help. It's like, even if it was the kings, it wouldn't help. I bet the only person who could deal with this is like Black Lotus or fucking self, and he's like, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh shit, it's Black Lotus. Hey, chief.
Yeah, yeah, and then here comes the fucking dragon by one of the fucking by that guy who happened to have a VPN.
Yeah, basically the way that he lives in Tokyo, but he's able to access Brainburst in Okinawa because he basically jailbroke a Neuralinker and he left it in like under a bench somewhere, and he's able to log on to the Okinawan server.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works, but okay.
It's basically like a really complicated VPN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah. So before that though, just very briefly, Megumi Kiryuki forgot to get the souvenir for Megumi, and she's like upset about it. And then they have a moment together where Kiryuki apologizes in the bedroom. Nothing happens. It's just a tender moment between friends. And, and then it's like Megumi just says, I feel like you're just pulling away from. Okay, I'm sorry. Nothing wrong with that.
Just
I'm
keep
fine.
running away. Just keep running away.
Yes. I just feel like you're always just one step ahead, a step away from me, Senpai Koiki Hime. I just want to be your friend. That's all I want. And then it kind of goes off on tangent. It just kind of goes with Megumi leaving for a meeting with the other student councils, and Koiki's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
I just want to
Then
be
the
your
next,
friend. That's
yeah,
all I want.
yes, and then the next day happens, and then that's when DJ happens for the Kyuuki and the Okinawans dealing with this unknown enemy with a fucking dragon.
But yeah, no, it's basically a dude. He has some reins on a dragon that he's tamed, and
Mhm.
he like fights them using a dragon.
Which is unheard of, but yes. And
and
Oh wait, also there's this weird moment where like basically to log on, Ryuki Hime and the two girls decide to do it in a
dive cafe.
random room, a dive cafe. I thought they did it in the hotel.
It's a cafe in the hotel, yes.
So they do it in a cafe, like in their own booth or something. And
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, there's this weird moment where one of the girls, I don't know, acts funny, and they're
She
like,
has a premonition because of her Okinawan blood. She has like witch blood or something, demon blood or whatever.
yeah,
So,
I'm like, is that a thing in Japan?
I mean, for the country people, maybe. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
So
she has like a future vision, and she's like, "Oh, hey, we need a spare link cable. Just leave it on the table." And it's like, "Why?" It's like, "Just trust me." So yeah, they start after that. They start fighting the dragon.
yes. Oh, there you go, Mike. I was worried. You're not saying anything.
No, I went to the
Oh yeah,
restroom.
and they're in a
Oh,
stage
okay.
which is basically like this dingy town with like scrap metal everywhere. So they use the scrap metal and the special power of the Bolt dude, and he's able to basically
turn into a
turn
fucking
into
Guden.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he fights the dragon that way, and it goes okay, but they start losing after a bit. And
Because the dragon uses like sulfur. No, the dude uses sulfur, and then
oh
Nikki,
yeah,
the dragon ignites and it ignites the gas, and it
yeah, the dude
explodes.
can basically
Yeah.
make an explosive cloud of like a mist of gasoline or some shit, and the
Sulfur,
dragon
sulfur
is like
pop.
a fire-breathing dragon, so it basically creates an area of effect explosion that's incredibly fucking broken. and they're not really sure what to do about it. And at that moment, Megumi walks into the dive cafe and is like, "This is what you're doing. Why don't you ever hang out with me?" Then she sees that there's a spare link cable, and she's like, "I wonder what you're doing." And then she also, actually, it's not a. She doesn't wonder. A book appears before her, and a voice in her head tells her that this is the book she's been looking for, and this is the only time she's ever going to be able to read it again. But she links up with Kirihime, and she's like, "Okay." So she does that. And she appears in Brain Burst, and it turns out she used to play Brain Burst, but she ran out of burst points and her memory was erased. So she appears in the game with her memories restored as an incredibly high level avatar that looks like a magical girl, and
Mm-hmm.
basically
Yeah.
forces the scene to change, and it goes from being a dingy like coastal town to basically being fucking water worlds, and everything is underwater.
Yes.
Which like
Oh,
so they can't use their fire attacks anymore, but the dragon can still fucking swim, so they're not out of the woods yet. Except for the Red Bolt dude, who is made of metal and sinks to the bottom of the ocean immediately.
And it allows
so-
it allows the Guyver girl and the mermaid ranger to swim around with yeah.
Oh yeah, because with water theme, it have water theme powers, so they basically like distract the dragon while it's attacking them, and Kikihime basically cuts the reins, which drop as an item next to the red screw guy. And after the reins have been cut, basically, mechanically, it's probably just like the way that this character was able to tame this monster was by finding or creating, because he might have made it, which you'll figure out later as we explain. Or he may have just found it somewhere in the game, and basically the item makes the monster loyal to him. So now that the item's been removed from the monster is no longer loyal to him. The way that it's presented in the anime is that he was an abusive owner. So the moment it stops having to listen to what he has to say, it immediately turns on him because he was a dick.
yeah.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because fuck him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
basically, the high level enemy turns on him and eats him, and
He swims away. Nick swims away after that. He's gone.
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
So after that, Megumi wakes up with the other three girls, and she doesn't remember anything. And Kirihime is like, I mean, I wish I knew more about her past, but I guess this is how she feels about me, so I guess it evens out. And
Before that, Kiryuki Hime tells Red Kingbolt or Kricken to get the girls out of here because I'm gonna do something. I don't want them to see the bad part of Brain Burst right now. They're very innocent. So
oh no, this is actually before that.
Well, it does?
No, right, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're still in game.
Yes.
And they all get back up on like a little island. And
Mhm.
even though the dude was attacked by the dragon, but he basically, because of the unlimited neutral field, he's forced to log back in where he died. So basically, they all talk around his respawn point, and the red guy's like, "Oh, by the way, the reins he had fell down near me in like the ocean. Here, you can have them. I don't want them." And she's like, "Cool, take your kids and log out because I'm going to fucking torture this dude until he tells me everything he knows, and I don't want them around for that."
Exactly.
And then after that, they all log out, and all that stuff happens. And somehow they're able to find the like hacked Neuralinker with the VPN backdoor in it, and they basically just destroy it, so we can't use it anymore.
No, they don't destroy it. It actually just burns itself out as a way of not wanting no one to know what's going on. So it was already
that did
destroyed.
happen. My bad.
Yeah. And then as Kiriki Hime is leaving with everyone, she sees the two girls and they wave and say something in Okinawan or whatever, very country southern shit. And then as they're leaving, Kiriki just wonders about Megumi, as you mentioned, about the whole she used to be a Versinger, but whatever, I guess that's not for me to know. That's just her story now. That's her story and I have mine. And then they exchange presents and it's a happy ending for them. But you
But
wonder
also, as they were leaving, not only were the girls there was this one dude just sitting on a bench nearby who was probably the Red Bull.
Yeah, and he's just casual, like very like dismissive.
Trying to be cool.
Yeah, 16-year-old kid. Yeah, okay, kid. Okay, I see.
Drinking some shit out of a juice box.
Yeah. So pretty much, it's a happy ending. You're wondering why did we switch up to Kurikihime when we were in the middle of a crisis with the other characters?
Because that's
Because
how
it's,
it
Getting
was.
too heavy.
Yeah, that's how it was fucking done.
yeah, it actually connects with what's happening in the main story, pretty much.
It's gospel cock blocking.
Yes. But now,
Cock blocking.
now we get back. Okay, we get back to. I actually gotta go pee, but I'll leave this part to you guys as I'm doing right now. Go talk
Just
about.
remember what happened next.
Yeah.
Well,
Shiro just healed Nomi. Everyone's surprised, and then Haruyuki goes buck wild after Takumu dies.
Oh yeah, Venom takes over.
Venom
Yes.
takes over.
Hang on,
Battle.
what's the bathroom?
Venom. I'm gonna taste my venom.
Yeah.
Just
It
have.
only reveals that you can actually, when you use, shit, what is it called again?
Incarnate.
Thank you, Mike. Incarnation. You can actually tell what emotion someone's channeling when they use it because he becomes acutely aware that his incarnation abilities stop being based off of confidence and start being based off of anger. They turn bright red and they start doing way more damage.
So basically, the dark side of the force.
Pretty much, yeah, he starts using the dark side. And then something happens. I think Takamu like maybe realizes what's going on and just like forces Haru to disconnect because he's like worried about him. It's like, are you okay? And Haru like gets up and is about to go like choke the shit out of Nomi, and Takamu was like, Haru, breathe, please.
Breathe, man, breathe.
So basically at that point, I don't know if this is exactly when it happens, but basically at this point, Haru and Takamu talk about all the stuff that's been happening with Nomi and how they figured what out and what happened. And they basically
No, you're right.
and like
That's a
Takamu,
quick piss.
Yes, it is.
Takamu was like, oh man, I sent you that virus. This is all my fault. And Haru's like, no, it's not all your fault. And basically, oh no, and actually, right after this, because Naomi got his ass beat so fast and so hard, Naomi releases the blackmail he has on Haru as like retaliation, and it's actually kind of cool because like there's the plot line of it where it's like, oh, if this blackmail gets out, my life's over, but the blackmail gets out anyways, and instead of his life being over, people are just kind of like shitting at him. There's like a teacher who like sequesters him to like an interrogation room and tries to get him to admit to doing shit. And Haru's like, I'm going to start recording this conversation, and I'd rather my parents be here for this. And the teacher's like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, I'm doing it. Shut up. And he's like, damn it.
Yeah.
He's trying to get into like false confession and shit.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, gaslighting and all that shit. Like, pretty much the beginning of Spider-Man: No Way Home with the interrogation.
Yeah, and then another student, like a lot of the women, the female students get freaked out that somebody was like recording them when they were changing, and one of them has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend goes and just like drags Haru to
beat the shit out of him.
And, like, beat the shit out of him. And Haru was like, I didn't do it, fuck you.
Yeah,
Haru is just, that's basically what Haru is. He's like, yeah, I've been in shitty situations before, this is no different.
So Haruyuki's on I don't give a shit mode. He's just going full on that, yeah, I didn't do it, but you know what? Beat me up if you want, because I don't care what you think. I'm still innocent here. You think I'm guilty? I'm innocent. Fuck you. I will prove it.
So yeah, instead of being like a shitty slog where you have to like watch some kid get tortured, he's just like, fuck you. And I'm like, yeah, I like this.
He goes like, hey, I got beat up and didn't deserve it. Hey, now I'm getting beat up and I'm gonna deserve it. Fuck you.
But basically after that is the thing where Takamu and Haruyuki are talking about it, and they're doing it on a bus with a bunch of their school kids around, and they're in the back, and they don't realize that a bunch of them are listening in on it, and they're basically like talking about how they got into this ridiculous situation and apologizing to it, and all of the classmates around them are women, and they're like looking at them like they think they're boyfriend and that some gay shit's about to go down.
It was very, very gay and hilarious.
Also, within that crowd may have been two characters that were introduced way earlier that we forgot to mention. There's basically two reporters that were like introduced for like 5 seconds earlier in season 2, and then we all forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to mention I was about to mention the reporters, but we glossed over to when he got the shit kicked out of him.
And I think
Yeah.
they were in that crowd of people listening in because after that they listen to what they say and they go and like try to investigate and see if Haru actually did it or not. So that happens, and Takuma's like, okay, but like, what do we actually do about Nomi? And it's like, well, if you're gonna stand a chance against them, you have to learn Incarnation. And he's like, okay, how do we do that? And he's like, we could just ask Skyraker for help. And he's like, if we ask Skyraker for help, we're gonna have to ask Ashroller to take us to Skyraker, and I'm pretty sure he will not let me because he doesn't know me that well, and he's a very private person.
But I wanted more Ash Roller.
That's what like Takumu assumes. So instead, they call on what's her name again? It sounds like Neko, Niku,
Nico. Nico.
Yeah, Scarlet Rain.
and they basically ask her to teach Takumu Incarnation, and basically she like invites them to her clubhouse, so they're like stuck in her territory in case they try to pull something, and basically they tell her what they want, and she's like, oh damn, if I had known you were going to ask for that, I'd have said no or charged more. So but basically because they're friends and she feels bad for the situation they're in, she agrees to help Takumu on the condition that Haru helps one of her people with something that she's dealing with. So they basically go to a back room where Nico and Takumu work on Incarnation, and lots of very important character stuff happens that I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, help me.
Okay, right. Pretty much, Taku reveals all his trauma. The only way for him to learn Incarnation. Okay, Mike, Roger. Pretty much, fuck.
The only way to learn Incarnation is for him to face his trauma. That makes
Yes, and he reveals his trauma
that
to
is
the Scarlet Rain and Taku and Haruyuki. And at first, Haruyuki's surprised, but Taku says, "No, don't worry about it. It's just something I never told you."
Oh wait,
Richie,
actually, can I take a side here? Can I take a moment here?
go.
This is actually 3 examples of how the character creation in Brain Burst works. It takes your trauma, but it also takes how you deal with that trauma. Haru got the ability of flight because he was being bullied, and to deal with it, he imagined flying away somewhere and so he wouldn't have to like be around people anymore, and he could just escape. So he got wings. The trauma that Takumi was describing in this scene, when he first started kendo, one of the upperclassmen singled him out for no reason, and they basically made a game of holding him down and beating the shit out of him every time they were in kendo class together, particularly stabbing him in the neck a bunch. So his character has a lot of armor around his neck for that reason. But also, when he got mad about it, he would imagine taking out a really big spike and running it through their fucking throats, and that's why his weapon is a pile driver.
Yes.
Yes.
But the thing is, to use Incarnation in the first place, you have to face that, and he's been running away from it the entire time. It's also revealed there are 4 general kinds of Incarnation, and only certain people can use certain versions of them. And the ones that are available to you are the ones that you don't struggle with that much, because your avatar is already compensating for the ones that you struggle with, which is revealed by why Red King's avatar is the way that it is, because she's actually her parents. She doesn't have parents. She's in the foster system. So that's why she doesn't trust anyone, and why she is as like self-reliant as she is. And so she's basically afraid of the outside world and spends all of her time playing Brain Burst, which doesn't have to deal with it. So her powers manifest themselves in an overwhelming combat ability encased in a impenetrable armor that no one can break through.
So basically, like, pretty much like, hey, I'm afraid of going out. Yeah, okay, I'm a fortress.
Yeah. Okay, that was it. That's what. So basically, then now starts a sequence where the Red King is basically like trying to force Takumu to deal with his issues head on by using intervention or whatever it's called.
And during this time, Haruyuki and another cool character named Pard. They have to go follow up on the whole Nomi situation of why he doesn't appear on the on the brain avatar thing or
Technically,
whatever.
actually, what happens is like that'll happen when Haru logs out, and then she's basically already there waiting for him, and is like, "Let's go,
Yeah, she's
get on my bike, leave me, we're going shopping."
yeah,
But
yep,
well, they
badass
are
biker
looking,
chick.
yeah. Well, they are
Yeah.
looking into the Nomi situation. They're looking at it from a different angle because basically, someone who operates very similarly to Nomi has been harassing the Red Legion recently, and that's what they're using Haru to figure out. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry for the correction.
No, it's fine.
Sounds all good.
But basically, the attacks keep happening at a certain retro video game arcade in Akihabara. So they basically drive over to Akihabara to go and
Go and deal with it. And if you mean retro, they mean have a game from when the show was out at the time play in the background. Tekken Tag
Yeah.
Tournament 2.
But yeah,
I
it's
shit you
retro-
not. You see footage. You see footage of the game on one of the arcade machines. Yeah, they're playing full on fucking Tekken.
Yeah, that's a big thing apparently for them.
That was fucking hilarious.
So they basically go to like this bar that's in the virtual world, and is it in? No, it's not in. It's not in. It's not in Brainverse. It's just in like the Oasis program. And even though it's in the middle of Akihabara, it's technically a neutral area. The Yellow Legion doesn't have any pull there. And basically that's because this place predates the Yellow Legion, and it's basically like, I don't know what to call it, a fight club?
Fight Club.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
But it's not like that kind of fight club. It's just a bar where they have an arena in the middle of it, and you can take bets on and watch like two Brainburst people fight and see who you think's gonna win.
Basically cockfighting.
Yeah, but with people.
Yeah.
So they basically, I don't remember what they do, but they basically do something weird to draw out the guy who keeps rigging the fights. I don't remember what it is.
They use the information about Silver Crow not having his wings with bloody.
Yeah.
So they basically use the fact that Crow right now is like a level 1 character to make it seem like he'll be an easy target.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's a cool fight. It's a great fight by Rush Jigsaw, and you see a Bloody Kitty in action a little bit. She's a freaking great character.
Yeah,
And
she goes
yeah.
from humanoid to transforming into a leopard, and it's like it's like Cheetor from Beast Wars.
Yes.
Basically,
Plus,
what Leopard's thing is that she, she gotta go fast. So she has the bike and she turns into a leopard. But the blood part is that she is mildly vampiric, and that if she is able to bite you, I think she drains your health and she charges her special move gauge with it.
Yes. No, she can. No, she can she can replenish her own health with the health she's taken from you by biting
It's like
you.
vampire health. But the main thing that they did in that one is actually that she made a point to basically like chomp down on this dude's like right or left shoulder specifically, and do all the damage to that part of his body, so that when he like logged out and was running away from the fight, he'd be like really obvious to spot out because he'd be like in lots of physical pain in the real world. So that all happened when her and Haru were in like a net cafe. They wake up after the net cafe and they chase after the dude. And Haru is only able to catch a glimpse of the dude before he like vanishes into the Tokyo streets or whatever, the Akihabara streets. And basically the blood leopard is like, it's okay, we know more than we knew before. We have a little bit more information, so good work. And they basically go back and check on Takamu, who at this by now has learned a little bit of incarnation and is ready to take on Nomi if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what happens next.
And pretty much, Haruyuki's still dealing with all the backdraft of what Nomi did. He tries to have a moment with Chiyuri, but then she's like, even though he has my avatar, you have my heart. Put your clothes
Oh
back
yeah,
on.
remember how we were
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
the
how
awkward.
Yuri does this
You're
really
gonna
weird
take off my
shit?
clothes scene.
Yeah, where
Uh,
she tries to like flirt with Haru really awkwardly. She just starts undressing in front of him for no reason.
because why the fuck not? It was very, very awkward.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't remember what happens after that. Actually, wait, doesn't Haru just go home and then he starts like fucking
He starts deciphering all the information he knows about.
talking to Pepe Sylvia, going through all the information.
Yes,
And then
and
he
then he figures
realizes,
it out. He
yeah, he
cracks.
realizes that when he saw that dude walking away from them with his hurt shoulder, he was making hand gestures that coincide with you using a neural linker. Because even though the neural linker connects with your brain, you still have a haptic interface of moving your hands around the GUI in front of you. And he was making those gestures, but the neural linker specifically goes on the back of your neck, and Haru saw that he didn't have one. He was still using one without actually physically having one, which actually is it means that he had a prototype neural linker inserted into his brain.
Brain implant chip.
That's what it's called.
BIC.
And
B.
that's how they keep like getting away with all the weird shit they were doing this season. They were taking advantage of technology that was basically illegalized after it was killing people a little bit.
Yes.
And nobody thinks to like block it anymore because no one's supposed to have them anymore.
Yeah.
But so yeah, they figure out that oh right, actually, you know what? It wasn't made illegal because it was killing people. It was made illegal because people were using it to cheat on entrance exams.
Yes.
It's like this can render someone completely comatose. It's like it's fine. Somebody can also use it to cheat their way into college. Blasphemy! We must make this illegal.
Yeah.
So basically, because Haru figures out that through line, he realizes Nomi has one too. And if a school finds out that you have one and they have any prestige at all, they will kick you out immediately.
Because, wait, that's
Haru
illegal.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, Haru has blackmail on Nomi now, and he goes and confronts Nomi with it. And Nomi actually sweats in his boots a lot because it's a pretty ironclad fucking blackmail. Like, he has the chip, and if he goes and tells the teachers, he's expelled. That's it.
And there was like an SAO Easter egg about the fucking nerve gear.
Yeah. They while he's doing this research, trying to figure out what the brain chip is, he's like, wait, how many devices have there been like the Neuralinker? Oh, right, the Nerve Gear was the first one. It's like, oh, cool, we're in SAO universe. I'm gonna throw up. And then eventually finds the brain chip. Good call, Chris. But what was I talking about?
He pretty much tells Nomi he's got dirt on him too.
Oh yeah, so basically he's like, okay, well then, you got dirt. What you gonna do, kid? And Haru's like, we're gonna settle this like men in a fighting game. And Haru and Nomi's like, let me guess, you're gonna fight me over and over again until one of us runs out of first points. And Haru's like, yes. And Nomi's like, okay, there's an in-game item where you can just turn whatever fight you're in into a sudden death match, and we only have to fight once. So let's just do that, so we don't have to do this over and over again. And Haru's like, that sounds fair.
Is this... Okay, were they in a wooded area?
Yes, there's like a wooded area just outside the school.
Okay, because like there was like a frame where it looked like Haruyuki was fucking drunk.
It was only due to the pausing aspect, and it just happened to be there.
Yeah, like we made memes out of it too.
That was my
It was a really fun anime to watch and make memes with.
We had fun memeing the shit out of the show.
You had fun making memes. I was on the other end wondering what the fuck did I unleash. I'm so sorry. The world.
You liked that we liked it.
Yes, I did.
We had fun watching it. It was awesome.
All right, let's move on. Come on.
All right.
So basically, they're like, well, we're gonna have a final showdown where it's like you versus me and Takamu, and I hope my dog doesn't show up on the recording. And basically, we don't trust you though, so we're gonna like have to figure out a way we can't cheat. And he's like, well, you can change the location of the fight in the virtual world, whenever you want. So basically, their plan is to go and basically repetitively change the venue of the fight over and over again, so we can't like get people to be there because of how that works in the virtual world and how like he'd have to like arrange it really well so that it worked out that way. I actually feel like there are lots of ways that someone could circumvent that, but I'm not going to think about it super hard. While they're doing this, Chiri comes up and basically tells them that Naomi told her to be there so he could cheat and she could heal him, and that was happening, and basically that she just wants them to be aware of what she's doing, but not totally aware of what she's doing, as you'll find out soon, and that she's sorry. I don't exactly remember what happened, and she just wants to be near them, so she basically gets to sit there while they're doing all this. And finally, they decide on a venue, and they show up to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna say something, Chris?
I forgot. You go on.
All right. But basically, they get there, and they literally have a speech about, we don't trust you, and he's like, God, you're so mistrusting. And then it turns out that he actually did come with help, really high level help, that basically takes Haru out of the fight. And he's like, haha, you're right not to trust me. I'm a piece of shit.
Because his ability is also fucking broken, like him copying everybody's abilities.
Yeah, he also has a broken. It did bug me that, like, I'll save that for later. But basically, he fights Takamu, and I feel like it goes okay-ish for Takamu.
Takamu was able to one up Dust Taker at first because he learned his incarnate skill, Cyan Blade,
Which is a giant fucking sword.
Yeah, he turns Pile Driver into a big katana.
Yes.
Die katana!
And then the two have
Fury shows up though, and Naomi takes her hostage.
After losing a bit, he loses a hand.
Yeah, which bothered me because like the only reason that this like I get that she's in actual physical pain, but it bothered me because like it's a video game, so she can't actually die. And the only reason that like that stake is on the board is because only Haru, Nomi, and Takamu agreed to that stake. So technically, Takamu and Haru are in infinitely more danger than Chie is, even if Chie is being actively tortured, because they can actually, like, you know, air quotes, die. They can lose their access to this game forever. And she can't. She can be, like, defeated right now, and she can still play tomorrow. So that, I didn't like that part. But basically, Takamu, like, loves her so much that he becomes unable to fight because she's being hurt. And Naomi takes advantage of that, and I don't know. Basically, that upsets Haru to the point where Haru basically breaks out of whatever trap he's in. I don't remember what happens.
He goes into zero. I believe he goes into zero fill at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes like blue screen of death.
Yeah, and then he ends up like talking to himself in his own head, but instead of talking to Venom, he's talking to his dual avatar, like it's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really remember what they say to each other.
He says something specific, and then after that,
basically from what I remember, get your shit together.
Yeah, and then surprisingly, as what's his name? Oh, Dust Taker's about to take the final blow on Takamu or whatever. Someone appears and everything that stops it.
Are you sure? Are you sure it isn't that like Haru doesn't like break out of his thing?
No, so Haru uses his own strong will to break out of Black Vice's bindings or whatever.
Yeah, but at that point, and he goes up and he stops Nomi from killing Takamu, but at that point, it's basically 2-on-1 because Nomi still has his cheaty guy, Black Vice, and it looks like there's not much Haru will be able to do about it. And then, as you were
Yeah.
saying, Jeff,
Oh, someone rides in on a white horse.
It's Kiriyuki Hime. She comes in the, yeah, she's the Deus Ex Machina of this part.
She gets
I
it.
had blood at this part, and that happened.
So Black Lotus appears and she says, "Get up, Silver Crow, and defeat Taker!" And like this is like the pinnacle moment of in the last episode, and then
She
Lapis,
basically fights Black Vice because they're evenly matched, and
yeah, Black Lotus takes care of Black Vice, and Haruyuki deals with Dust Taker, and it's another live and die situation where he uses Gale Thruster and then Incarnate, and it looks like he's about to kill Nomi, and then something
oh
happens
yeah,
again.
he like does this cool like lightsaber strike thing where he basically does almost all of the damage to Naomi using like Gale Thruster and using his like punch move, which is a bittersweet moment because it looks really cool, but it's also what's basically going to replace the wider kick from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly.
And then, for whatever reason, because their special move gauge finally fills up, Chiriyuki heals Nomi again.
Which pissed me the fuck off.
You bitch!
And then, like, I lost my shit, and then the twist happens.
Yes.
Then we had to eat crow.
We ate crow. We ate silver crow. Fucking apparently, like, so Nomi lost the wing powers. Lost all the
Yes.
powers he
Basically,
copied because apparently Chiyu's healing ability reverses time on the
not a healing
player.
ability.
So she played us all like a harp.
Yes.
Basically, she reveals that she didn't let Naomi get to her at all. She was just going along with it, and the reason that she was acting so stupid is because she couldn't be aware of how complete Naomi's web of like surveillance
Web
was.
of defeats.
And like whether or not he like did what Takamu did and installed a fucking backdoor in her like fucking neural linker.
It's like the
So-
keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yes.
she pretty much did it the whole time. It's also revealed that the reason that she decided to go up and like hang out with Haru and Takamu for their fight is so she could learn where it was and email the fucking location of the fight to Kiriyuki so she could show up and save them.
In the unlimited neutral field, because even though it's only 27 seconds in real time, it took 15 hours for her to get from Okinawa to that staging area with the flying unicorn horse or whatever.
So
Basically, yeah, GA tells Kiriyuki where they're going to be, and Kiriyuki goes into the unlimited neutral field, and in game, grabs a horse using the reins item she got, and drives 15 hours
Mm-hmm.
to get back to Tokyo
Mm-hmm.
virtually.
So yeah, I took back everything I said about Chiuri. Like she played us all like a harp. But like, damn, why didn't you say anything? Now I know why you didn't say anything. You are a smart girl. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Scene from Wayne's World there.
I was still mad at it, but like, that was because of the time I didn't totally get it. Like, I was mad that like PA did all this and like we couldn't see it from her perspective because that seemed like way more interesting than the twist to me. It was still good writing. I just wanted more character development because I don't know anything about Chie. I don't think anyone does. And the other thing that pissed me off was that basically, if they had just gone to Kiriki Hime and told her what was happening, she would have come home and fixed it because that's who she is. And they didn't do that for some reason, and it didn't make any sense to me. But I remember talking to Jeff about it, and I'm like, that's stupid. And Jeff was like, she was on a trip. And I'm like, yeah, a high school trip. And it's like, and she's like, well, okay, I get what you're saying because high school is terrible for you. But it was like, maybe imagine it as a convention instead of a high school trip. And I'm like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense to me now. Like, if she's on a trip that actually mattered and had like some kind of emotional weight to her, I can understand why they didn't tell her. The thing is, she figured it out anyway. She kept video calling Haru and she knew he was in trouble. but she just decides that like he's a big boy, and if he really needs me, he'll call me.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it took me a second to get over it. I'm still not completely over it, but it's like even though there were parts of it I didn't like, it was still good writing.
Hold on. Before that, there's this whole deal of he got his wings back, and then he had to finish off Dust Taker.
Oh no, he doesn't have to finish off Dust Taker at all. Actually, he gets his rings back, and they're smaller than they are. And for some reason now, whenever like, cause basically, if you've seen like Digimon, like the series where they do the fusion dance with their partners, and they're like naked for some reason, that's how they're represented in Accel World 2. And so now, whenever like Haru is represented in the virtual world as being like naked and stuff, for some reason now he has cherub angel wings every time. So basically, it was just an excuse to do a little bit of a redesign on his wings. But he doesn't have to do shit for Dust Taker because Dust Taker is now like 80 feet in the air and he just lost his wings. And he plummets back to Earth.
Drops the bitch.
Yeah, and he basically loses all of his health except for 1 point of health. And he's basically like
begging for mercy.
A limited neutral field where like you can feel pain, so he just like fell 80 stories and felt it all, and he like can barely crawl at this point. He's in a world of pain.
It's fucked.
So yeah, no, basically at this point he's just crawling onto the ground, screaming and crying, begging for mercy, and everyone's like, "This is hard to watch." And Haru was like, "I'm gonna put him out of his misery now."
Yeah, like you try to be all sympathetic, like you gave us some bullshit. We ain't sympathetic. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, he was like, I'd like to be sympathetic, but I'm not. But he's like, it's still like upsetting though because he's just screaming his fucking head off. And they basically beat Naomi, and he loses all of his burst points, and Brainburst is forcibly uninstalled from his device, and he loses all memory of it.
And
actually, wait. There's one more ass pull that Naomi tries to do, where basically he's like, "Wait, but I came here with help. I have this level 9 or like level 8 fucker, Black Vice here to help me. You'll help me, right, boss?" And basically Black Vice is like, "So you're a member of my organization. By the way, I run a secret science organization that's designed to try and take out all of fucking Brainburst and make it, like, figure out how it works. Like, fuck meeting the developer. We can figure this shit out ourselves," which I kind of respect. But he's a dick about it. He does have the redeeming quality being voiced by Matt Mercer, though. And he's like, and I'm going to be honest, while you, like, pushing yourself to the absolute limit to be the worst piece of shit that we've ever seen in Brainburst and trying to use intervention or whatever it's called in incredibly negative ways and seeing that affect your psyche has been fascinating. But right now, I'm cornered by effectively like 3 other people, and you're not fucking worth it. And he just leaves. And Naomi's like, "Wait, what about the fucking biochip you put in my head? If they figure that out, I'll tell them it was you, and like you'll go down with me." And he's like, "A, you're about to lose all your memories of Brainburst. B, I designed it so that fucking biochip will actually biodegrade in your brain, and basically it filtered out through your system through your spinal fluid. Maybe it leaves you a little bit brain damage. Maybe it doesn't. It's not my problem anymore." And he just fucking leaves.
He goes like, "Yeah, you're on your own, bitch."
And so yeah, then all that stuff happens, and they finish off Naomi, and then the epilogue happens.
And Naomi is a better person for it.
Yeah, basically, the reason Naomi was so fucked up is because his brother got brainburst and started abusing it, and he basically made Naomi a slave. And eventually, Naomi got enough burst points to get stronger than his brother without him realizing it, and basically not only beat his brother, but basically spent the next, like, I don't know, 2 days repetitively logging on to where his brother was going to respond, torturing him to death, and doing it over and over again until his brother was out of burst points. And after that, the game uninstalled from his brother's device, and he forgot all of it. It's actually an interesting plot parallel because Chie does the same thing, but instead of being like a sadist about it, she just does it until she can help her friends, and then she's done. So since all of basically Naomi's mental anguish came from his time playing Brainburst, when he loses all memory of it, he loses all of that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
He just
So
goes back to being like-
that emotional baggage is no longer in his head.
Yeah, so it actually was probably the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
I don't really remember if much else happens, except for the only other thing that I remember happening is basically after being apart for so long, Kiyuki Hime really misses Haru, so she goes over to Haru's house and they have dinner together. And then it's real that she knew the whole time, and she was super fucking worried about him, and she's proud of him, but also that was like exhausting to not be in his life, and they just start crying and shit. Which caused me to make a Steven Universe meme. But also there's a thing where she like, oh yeah, before she left, she offered him any wish that he could think of, and he's just sort of like, I guess my wish is that we, I don't know, just continue to support each other as much as we can for as long as we're together. And Tsukihime basically freaks out because the way he says it sounds like a marriage proposal. And he's like, no, that's not what I meant, I'm sorry. And that's all I remember.
So pretty much after that, Shiyu formally joins Nega Nebulous, bumping up the people to 4. Then Haruyuki gives back Gale Thruster to Fuko on a bridge in the evening, and then as they're about to leave, Fuko and Kuriyuki don't really acknowledge each other and everything, but then Kuriyuki decides to take a chance and try to reignite their friendship, and it works. He just says, Fuko! And then they have a tender moment of hugging each other on the bridge.
Yeah, he calls
Haruyuki
out her
gives...
name and they run towards each other in slow motion, crying.
Yes, and then Haruyuki gives the epilogue, gives the ending speech of the series of that everyone that we're going to continue to strive and move on with our lives. Oh, before that, Pard and Nico make one more appearance before that, and they decide that just to confirm everything that everything's taken care of, right? Yes, but there's still the research society which we'll take care of. And then Brain Burst is still a secret, which is fine with us. They zoom off into the sunset. Then the crying thing happens, and then you start seeing random characters, and as a crescendo of music occurs, some characters you will not know who they are until you have to read the books, and then it kind of ends it has a happy ending. The end. Fuko formally joins Nega Nebulous again, so that makes it 5 people total in the crew.
I'm gonna go let my dog in so her barks don't show up on the audio.
Go, okay, go.
So,
Alright,
so yeah, that was the show, and we're not done yet. So this episode has been 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2.5 hours.
I feel bad. Maybe I should just make a CGM extra just to give you all the answers you want.
So, all we have left for this episode is the 2 OVAs and the movie. So, yeah, a longer episode.
Cool.
So far, pretty much the show, I enjoyed it. You know, like, hey, it was cool.
It was different.
It was different.
I mean,
it was cool. Augmented reality, VR, all that. It was cool. You know, just like, hey, thoughts go faster than the physical world. All that shit. Yeah, I could get behind that shit.
I do wonder. I wonder what your avatar would be if you had brain burst.
It would just be a red Guyver.
God, of course. Long distance ass. Jeez. Or what about blue? They like one-on-one shit, more or less. No, red is for you. Okay, so for the next.
I forgot. Like the colors have different abilities too, don't they?
Yes. But anyway, so there's these 2 episodes that appeared with the Infinity Burst movie, and these were from apparently the Accel World game that came out around 2015, 2016, respectively.
Yeah, the 2 OVAs. We're talking about the OVAs now.
Yes, they came. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, let's All right, let's abridge those episodes. All right, the first episode we watched, OVA 1. They're trying to figure out somebody is stripping the other avatars of the students naked, and they're trying to figure out who the fuck's doing that. So they sprung a trap for them, and she has a big giant sack that pretty much fucking strips everybody, and then they follow them to like another game, which happens to be an old school brain burst.
It's called Accel Assault.
Accel Assault. So, yeah, so pretty much the whole setting is that they're fighting on the trench. They're fighting in one of the trenches of the Death Star. There's two Death Stars apparently. So yeah, and they have different transformations. So it's a hybrid. So yeah, Kiriyuki Hime's form and Lime Bell's form. It's a hybrid between their normal avatars and their brain burst looks, and they're both pretty cool. While the boys, well, yeah. Haruyuki is just his pig avatar with wings, and then we got Taku, his Cyan Pile. He's he's a fucking a gun with his head on the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so pretty much, I cannot get the scenario out of my head where Chiyu is sticking her hand up Taku's ass.
Mm.
It is funny. So yeah, they go. So they fight. So they fight the serial stripper and defeat her. The game ends and they get the fuck out of there. The game's deleted in the end.
Yeah, there's pretty much nothing much to it, and it somehow takes place in season 1. It's kind of weird.
So I pretty much abridged it in the stupid simple way I can do in a stupid way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Unknown if the person who challenged him to the game was a computer program or a person.
who knows? So yeah, have you heard my abridging?
No, I just got back.
Oh man, I'm not gonna describe it again because it's funnier the first time.
Yeah, we also have a recording of it.
And then the second episode is called Vacation. It's the second OVA, and it takes place their season 2 a little bit, and it's just a simple how Yuki needs to lose a little bit of weight before something happens. Oh, he'll have to go to.
Physical, and there's basically like he has to be in a certain weight class to be considered healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not considered healthy, then the school will put him into a giant program doing physical education after school on Saturdays. And the time where it happens coincides with the territory battles he's expected to do to be a part of the.
Yeah.
I do not like this episode.
It was fucking like you're torturing this fucker.
It's not. I mean, honestly, it's not a great episode. I mean, I enjoyed it for like the little winks and all the characters that appear
There
there.
were some like decent like jokes and stuff in it, and it was basically like a get everyone together and go to a hot spring episode.
Yeah, it was pretty much it.
There was basically like a bait and switch early on in the episode where they talk about going to a co-ed hot spring.
That was hilarious.
Is in the virtual in Brain Burst, where they randomly bring up a mechanic that's never brought up again. Where basically there are status effects that can affect your character after a battle, and aside from getting items, going to this hot spring is one of the ways to get rid of those status effects.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they go to an actual ass fucking hot spring. I don't exactly remember why, but basically Chiri and Fuko, who are now a part of the group proper, come with a bunch of weird, zany, lose weight quick ideas for Haru, and are basically just running him ragged to the point of exhaustion.
Even starving him. Because even though even though he's still fat, he looked a little gaunt, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah. So they all go to a hot spring together, and I don't actually.
It's just a little backstory about why is Haruki so fat, and then Yuri just brings up just briefly
All
that
right, there was
he
that whole
used
flashback where
yeah.
they have an arcade cabinet of Tekken at the hot spring, and Haru just walks up to it and he knows how to play it. And he's like, "Why do I know how to play this?" And he has a flashback about playing the game with his dad that he, I guess, I forgot the word. Shit. And I guess he got compartmentalized away because his dad divorced his mom and has never been seen since.
Yeah, I want to say that. I'll get into it, but anyway, yeah. And then Akira Yukihime has a nightmare where Haruki gets skinny and leaves her behind when she graduates high school, junior high. So it's a thing. And then they wind up in the hot spring together briefly for like 5 seconds, and then they reveal some more feelings. Then he faints due to overexhaustion, and then for some odd reason, a week passes by, and we learn that he was able to.
Oh,
He was, hmm?
in the hot spring, Karayuki postulates that maybe the main purpose of Brain Burst is to basically help kids with trauma. And she's worried that if you get over your trauma, then you won't be able to play Brain Burst anymore, which I don't like because that's counterintuitive to getting over trauma. But she also, uh, I don't remember exactly what happens. I think Haru talks about something. Because he's the protagonist, he goes on speeches a lot. And she walks up and gives him a hug, and I think she says, so if I'm being completely honest, I don't care if you're skinny or you're fat, I just like you. And he passes out. And basically, like, yeah, a week later he goes back to his physical and he passes because they starved him for a week or so, and he's like,
which is not healthy, by the way.
yeah, no, he's like sickly now. He like gets sick because of what they're doing to him and loses 10 pounds because he gets sick.
I mean, there's fasting and there's just fucking starving you to death.
So yeah, I don't love this episode for that reason.
I like the first OVA because like you get to see some action.
And it was also really cool to see their like forms in that game and how like it depended on what you were thinking of at the time and how you can take any form you want, which sounded way cooler than Brain Burst.
Yeah, and they're like fighting on the trench of the Death Star.
Yeah. But no, there were good moments in the second one. There were funny moments. There was lots of character moments, and it was kind of sweet at the end where she's like, "I just like you for you." Also, a random character shows up. They don't explain, and she says nothing.
He walks in, no explanation. Walks out, nothing.
She shows up in the movie though.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the movie. So, yeah, those were the OVAs.
She also says nothing.
So, we ready to go to the movie, boys?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna start the movie. 30 minutes of fucking recap.
If you would like to
experience the recap,
movie, please stop If you would like to experience the movie, please start rewatching the video from here and come back and then listen to us talk about the movie.
Fuck ass.
I don't know why I couldn't stick the landing on that joke.
That's fine.
That recap.
Oh, yeah,
was that fucking necessary? A fucking recap. Okay, I'm done.
Technically, I should be the one more upset than you, but okay, I'll let you have this moment.
Look, okay. You can have a recap, but not 30 fucking minutes. I mean, just, you know what? Edit all that shit down to, like, I don't know, like 3 minutes of a fucking montage. I mean, look, okay, I'll have an example. Spider-Man 3, compiling 2 movies in a montage. For the opening.
Yeah, I think Jeff's reason for being upset is because he would have rather had either more of the visual novels be animated or just more of the original story be animated. Because the movie did end up being its own original story. It's not based off anything that happens in the visual novels.
Pretty much.
That movie could have been more than that.
It really could have been. It had so much potential, and it just sadly just. Yeah.
The majority of the beginning of the first act was a fucking recap.
Yeah, and that's only because it's been like what at the time, like 4 to 5 years, 3 years, and people might have forgotten what happened. So let's just redo. Let's just tell people how this went again, but with brighter animation, maybe some new cell structure, maybe one extra scene. I didn't notice anything, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, the actual movie outside of the recap is the length of a Dragon Ball Z movie.
Which is upsetting them. It's just very upsetting.
And those Dragon Ball Z movies are basically like an extended episode of the show.
Minus Creed or something popping, some random underground music coming on.
Creed.
I don't know.
Creed. Fucking hell.
Underground, forgive me. I forgot. Sorry.
Sex. I had to make the joke of Creed because like like one of the songs just randomly just have like that sounds serious and just randomly shouts out sax and it's hilarious.
But pretty much, the movie takes place sometime after the series, so you're noticing all these characters pop up that you don't know, which is
Yeah.
like, how? What the fuck? How do they make it? It don't tell you. Sadly.
Hey! Remember this happening? No, I only watched the show. I didn't watch the fucking. I didn't read the fucking novel. But, hey, I didn't even have access to the fucking novels.
Fuck off! It doesn't matter. We're gonna like this. This is who we have.
Okay. Are you gonna show me a flashback to what happened? Fuck you. Read the book. Now watch the movie.
And it's just, I mean, it has good action sequences with some of the characters that you see.
Animation's fucking great. Not good if you're like coming in having read the books and you watch the anime and even though you watch the anime, they still talk about shit that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's very annoying. Which is another shot against it. Like, oh, you kind of shot stuff in the foot with this. Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cool with them introducing new characters that we haven't met because like, okay, time has passed by. Who's this? But they don't give us anything about the new characters.
Yeah, and then and spoiler alert, Prominence has merged with Nega Nebulous. What? What the fuck do you mean they merged? What's the backstory? Who cares? We're not telling you.
No context.
Oh, are we doing all the weird spoiler things they did? Because I got one.
It's not really a spoiler. It's just part of the movie. But yeah,
I got one.
go.
Zuko gets her legs back.
Oh right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Skyraker gets new legs and she looks like a fucking Saint Seiya character.
He does. That's a good point.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, she's a fucking badass.
I wish I could say anything about the movie, but it's just that some ancient a deity wakes up and forces everyone to get out of brain burst, and then it's just a matter of them trying to stop Nyx from I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, destroying the accelerated world and preventing brain burst from ever being a thing or whatever.
So basically, to explain, there are different classes of NPC enemy in the game. Some of them end up being like super god class or something, which
Yes.
sounds like a bunch of buzzwords for plot. And they tend to be virtually unbeatable, which makes me wonder why they're in the game in the first place. But basically, there was one that early on in the game, before even Hime started playing, Nyx, who was the antagonist of the movie, was fought by other players and was deemed too powerful and was sealed away in a dungeon. And what I think that means is that she was the boss. They don't explain what it means. So what I assume it means is that she was the boss of
Because they didn't have the fucking runtime. Because most of it was spent on the fucking recap.
Yeah, so what I assume it means is that she was the boss of a dungeon and no one could beat her. So they just put a sign outside that was like, "This dungeon is broken, don't go in." And that's what sealing means. So basically, she is reawoken, and she starts spreading a black cloud over the game. And what that apparently literally translates to is that she starts taking over all of the cameras. Which, in case we haven't brought this up yet, Accel World is set 40 years in the future, where Japan has basically become a surveillance state.
There's
Like,
a lot of laws.
It's totally fucking normal to have your entire fucking house filmed by security cameras 24/7, even in your bathroom.
Fuck your privacy.
Pretty much. So that's why Accel World works the way it does, is because since pretty much almost every inch of the world is being actively monitored by security cameras, that's how they make the AR for the game. They get a feed from the security camera.
And I guess the security the feed from the security cameras got enough reference to do the AR. So
Yes.
And then it's also public, or they hack into it and no one
well,
can.
like is there some photogrammetry technology up in this shit?
I don't know what that is.
Photogrammetry, it's like 3D scanning with your phone or with a camera. Yeah, like there's an app for it. I forgot what it was called, but you can 3D you can essentially 3D scan yourself and put it into Blender. I forgot what it was called. What the fuck was it? I'm gonna look it up. What was the name of it?
Did I continue or?
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, the black cloud literally translates to the NPC hacking into the security cameras and turning them off. So this actually creates a kind of stir in the news, and people start to panic. So basically, the plot of this is that the protagonists basically want to fix it before the outside world starts to notice. Because if they notice, they might find out about brain burst, and they don't want that.
Well, that and the fact that they're being sealed off as the cloud spreads in the accelerated world, and once it covers all of Tokyo, they will be unable to access brain burst.
All right, good point.
So Kiriyuki tries to send a SOS to all the other kings about saying we're gonna need some help. Nothing happens, and then all of them log into Brainverse one more time at Kiriyuki's house. They all physically link or whatever. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Forgetting about the festival.
It doesn't matter.
They all randomly decide to go to a festival. Do festival dances.
Yes, just to give
Haru does a heroic speech because he's the protagonist.
Fuck ass.
But yeah, then they all go into brain burst, and they all get ready to basically
deal with next.
Deal with the thing. Also, what happens is that Ash Roller shows up.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I find this. Do you want me to bring this up? How I find this kind of odd.
The great level Ash Roller.
Yes. Do you want me to bring this up, or should I not bring this up?
With what?
What?
The things that I noticed about Ash Roller appearing being weird.
Save it for a couple more minutes.
Okay. So yeah, but Ash Roller just shows up, and then so does the Green Legion leader, Green Grande.
Okay, I just found. Okay, now I remember what the program was called. Polycam. That's the app.
Okay,
Polycam.
Huh? What was that?
Polycam.
The program's called Polycam. It's like you can add it as like an app on your phone and scan shit. So.
Oh yeah, but do you want to pick it back up, Jeff?
Huh?
Jeff, do you want to pick it back up?
Pick what up? Oh, what I was saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's fine. Pretty much they all have to get through. Pretty much they all break through. They break through whatever they're trying to get to. Nyx has a lot of hordes of demons. There's a big battle that happens. They're about to lose. Then the king starts showing up one by one. Surprising last minute fight. Save. Chiyuri heals them. There's more talking. They all fight it out to deal with the 3 monster pillars or something in the sky or whatever.
Oh yeah, basically the kings show up and they're all like, "Yeah, we got here as soon as we could because Green Grande called us," and they're basically being assholes about it. But it also could be a representation of the fact that they're still not on good terms with Kiriyuki.
Pretty much.
And they're all pretty much still holding a grudge, except for Green Grande, who doesn't seem to have gotten over it.
Yeah, pretty much every fucking character shows up like Avengers Endgame, like just coming in to kick Nyx's ass.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
basically the way the boss fight is working is that Nyx is, I think, both inhabiting but is also technically an arena that's floating in the sky. So she is it, and she also lives in it. When the fight begins, she spawns three flying saucers that basically spawn infinite Ridleys, um, like from Metroid, like attack all the people who are attacking her. So you basically have to get through an army to fight her at all. Um, and so the kings show up and they're like, hey guys, maybe we should destroy the saucers that are spawning the enemies. And I'm like, wow, that's incredibly basic video game logic. It took you that long to think of it?
Destroy the spawning points.
So basically they start doing that, and they basically swap into two teams. There's a ground team taking care of the Ridleys and the flying saucers, and they send Kirikihime and Haru to go and deal with
Avengers, assemble!
yeah. So yeah, they go up and they meet the boss, and the boss seems more interested in talking to them instead of fighting them. What did she say again? What was the boss talking about again when they went and confronted her?
Oh, something about I want you all. I just want to.
Wait, I remember. There was
Yeah.
actually a scene at the beginning of the movie with a gymnast who got on a balance board or something, and it broke, and so she's basically like spinning in the air, about to land on her neck, and she tries to initiate a link to like brain burst to slow down time, but she fucks it up and she falls on her fucking neck and gets busted off.
Yeah, like my thing about that, I go like, how much fucking force did she put on that fucking spring to destroy it and then like launch herself up in the air? Like,
So she's like, oh, sorry.
like that's an insane amount of force. Like having to like jump on the spring to like for the stunt.
So she goes to the hospital and sorry.
You go ahead. I had nothing. Sorry.
No, you're good. So she goes to the hospital and basically, from what little character, that's what last time you see of her. But she reappears here, and from what little characterization you get from her, she basically isn't sure that any of her friends or family actually like her, and they think that they just like her because she's in gymnastics with them. So she has to be good at gymnastics, or no one will like her. It's also kind of implied that her parents pushed her into gymnastics. So she basically thinks that she's like completely fucked up because she hurt herself doing it. It's basically a low self-esteem thing. But because she's so distraught by it, it makes you feel like maybe she landed her neck, and if she's not dead, then she's at least paralyzed. She's actually totally fine. But I think that's what they were trying to go for.
I wish the movie had a longer runtime so we can like get a feel for more of that shit. But
yeah,
no.
but so basically, she's sad, and basically where the gymnastic competition was happened to be near where the dungeon Nyx was. So she ends up accidentally waking Nyx, and she's like, "Man, you seem really fucking sad." And she's like, "My life's over, and I wish I could just sleep forever." And Nyx is like, "I can do that." So she basically makes it so that the girl can sleep in the virtual world and is like constantly asleep, and she's just sort of like, man, she's had such a hard time. It'd be better if everyone could sleep like this, and that's why she started spreading the miasma over the virtual world.
Miasma.
So that everyone can just be like asleep forever. It doesn't really work, but that's her like idea. And Kiryuki and Haru are like, that's a terrible way to fucking live. It doesn't work that way. And then Nyx is like, fuck you. And then she turns into a giant like war monster that comes out the bottom side of the arena and starts fighting everyone. So Kiryuki and Haru fly out of the arena to go and fight her, and I forget what happens next. Something
They fight Thanatos. They fight Thanatos and Vantos or whatever. That's children of Nyx or whatever.
Who are supposed to be some of the most powerful NPCs in the game, and they blow them away in a hit.
Well, one person blew them away when they realized something was about to happen to their servant. Yes.
Oh right, something happens that they get explained in the book that doesn't explain the thing, and it just happens. someone like a random avatar. Like, oh yeah, wait, should I just explain it?
Don't explain it. Just talk about it. Go.
A random chibi avatar pops out of Haru's chest and starts yelling at him, and then turns into a random woman with angel wings, and
And I'm like, who the fuck are you?
tells him that he is her servant and should be better than this, and also that that other boss and that other girl who like broke her neck or some shit are also servant and master, but their bond is not as strong as her and Haru's is, so he must break their bond. And then she gives him a power up, and that's as much explanation as you get from the movie.
So in the end, Silver Crow and Black Lotus use their incarnate attacks with the Metatron wings to destroy the final bond between Servant and Master or whatever. They destroy Nyx, and then Nyx is destroyed, and then she's sealed away. And then they were able to help the girl. No, they help the girl come to terms with her feelings at the end. That she has to go back to reality because you can't sleep here. That's wrong. You got people waiting for you, and we'll be your friends, etc., etc., etc. So that happens, and then Nick decides, "I will always watch out for all of you, where I was sealed away forever." Oh, some bullshit like that. It's rather nebulous at best. So Nyx is defeated, or quote unquote sealed away again. The girl is safely back in reality.
And they all go to visit her in the hospital, and it's shown that she's not paralyzed because she can still move her arms and legs, but she is in a wheelchair.
And then she just says, "Those are my friends," and it just kind of ends right there.
The volleyball, because the gymnastics team actually did come to visit her because they actually do care.
Yeah. So technically speaking, nothing really mattered. Nothing of true value was lost.
This movie was fucking lame.
It was alright.
As much as I love it for the action sequences because I'm a Fuko fan, but that was the only time I was ever going to see her in action.
The set pieces were good, but the through plot was pretty lame. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animation and action sequences were awesome. Plot? Where the fuck was that? The fuck is plot?
Fuko flew into the air with a jetpack and threw this tiny girl at a bunch of monsters. It was lit.
Yes. Pretty much that was it. And I not the way how I expected this episode to go, but I will answer a couple of questions to end it. Yeah. Any revelations you want, I will answer to you fully.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own answers that you gave me and you told me not to bring up, so I feel like I shouldn't bring things up.
You have the forbidden knowledge that Jeff also has.
I will make a separate video with all the answers you want.
That could go to a CGM extra.
I'll make a CGM. We'll come back together, and then I will give you all the answers you want, and then we can have a full blown conversation about that.
Yeah. So yeah.
But that's pretty much the episode.
So this episode was just sort of like an overview of Accel World. Does anyone? Well, I guess in that case, instead of having any questions about it, does anyone have any sort of like wrap up, sort of like, or just general feelings of how they feel about the series?
I will say again, I love this series very much because I like the characters. The plot's fine, even though there are some aspects of it that is kind of not annoying, but like we could have tightened up some parts of the entire overview of Excel. Where there are some parts of it, like the Nomi situation, which is questionable. I think it was able to keep up the pace of what it was trying to say, even if I don't really in total agreement with the whole Chiyu situation, which is very, very annoying, which it shouldn't have gone. It really shouldn't have. Honestly, it shouldn't have been that long. It really should have just been like 3 to 4 episodes long, and then we would move on to a new arc and everything. But they made that the entire series at the second part. So.
It was a slog.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it dragged out, and going like having to drag that out. Me having a hate boner towards fucking Chew, and then having to eat crow afterward, and Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that part. I mean, I was so happy knowing that. I knew that was gonna happen, and then you were just gonna be like, ah!
yeah, yeah, we're like, what the fuck? Yeah, I pretty much reversed my opinion on Chiyu, just because
For me,
it was it was fucking crazy.
it was just like projecting onto the series and having it go places that were deeply unsettling for me, and just being like, and like then having everything be fixed by a twist at the end, and I just basically had like a fucking aneurysm because I'm like, I was made deeply uncomfortable by the things that happened, and this doesn't make up for it. And I had to like wait until I had the discussion with it with people afterwards, and they're like, it wasn't that bad. It just seemed like it was. There are
Honestly,
explanations that
it's
make
not that.
it
Again,
terrible.
again, we will discuss more about this in the CGM actually at some point. But honestly, I love the series. I love it for all it is, and I think it's a little bit. I mean, I think it's immensely better than SAO because
Oh yeah.
uh, honestly, I think it's like a niche that no one really talks about Excel World because it's like, oh, or whatever, and it's like,
It
I'm
can
sorry,
also be
that
reflected in the fact that Accel World has like 4 games. One of them is a phone game, and the other one is basically an SAO game that has Accel World characters in it, but they don't have a whole lot of agency.
is it a crossover game
Yeah,
on the
I
PS4?
I think I only know about it because you told me about it.
That game is. It annoyed me immensely. I played it, but it annoyed me so much that XL World was playing second fiddle to fucking SAO, and I just couldn't do it.
So yeah, that's like me trying to be like proof positive that sometimes it plays second fiddle to SAO, and maybe it shouldn't. I guess I have thoughts of the series.
Go.
Basically, I actually really like the series. I like that. I like the series surprises me a lot because sometimes like I'll be like, oh man, I know where this is going, and then I don't, and I'm like, okay, I like this. I like the direction it went, and I like that I didn't see it coming. Um, but also, for me personally, not actually literally, this is probably just like a me thing. It reminds me kind of Homestuck, in the same way that Dark Souls reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. Um, because with Homestuck, um, in my personal opinion, um, not much happens with the characters in that story. Um, and the reason I kept reading is because I found the setting fascinating, and I found the world really cool. Um, However, unlike Homestuck, I think the characters are actually decently well done. I mean, I don't think the characters in Homestuck are bad, but a lot of the arcs fall flat. I'm not going to turn this into a Homestuck video, but
Like the characters in XL World were more well rounded.
yeah. But I also found just like the concept of Excel World to be really fascinating and cool, and just like really interesting. Like I know I complain about it a lot. Like I talk a lot of shit about like the
The game
character creation for Brain Burst
yeah,
because I don't like the idea of it being like
predetermined.
um yeah, I don't like the idea, well, not just predetermined. I don't like the idea of it being based on your mental state because your mental state can change. Um, so you can end up playing the game for like years, and then a couple years down the line, you just have to look in the mirror and realize that this isn't you anymore. And that can be awkward. Um, uh, but the idea of it, and even it in general, like the character creation thing, is really cool. It's a really cool idea, and I really like it. And there's just a lot of this series I find really interesting to the point where I almost want to make like I have this weird itch to try and like see how many of the fucking Excel world mechanics I can port into like a tabletop system, like maybe Mutants and Masterminds or something. I've never read Mutants and Masterminds, so I don't know if it would work. But it's like I'm working on something right now, and when I'm done with that, it's like the next thing I want to work on.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So like it's good, but my favorite part is just all the weird, interesting shit. Like And like to be honest, the reason that I'm so hard on it is because it's interesting and I don't want it to fall flat.
Yeah, like
Like the idea of having a game where the entire basis of it is based on your own internal psychology, and playing it reveals truths about yourself. Sounds fucking awesome. But how easy it would be for a writer to absolutely fuck up that plot line and turn it into something possibly abusive, possibly just like a really bad representation of certain peoples and certain mental things, is incredibly easy. So I'm constantly worried about it. But so far, they've managed to not do that. So I'm very happy with them.
And by the guy who did SAO of all people.
Right! That's why I'm so fucking afraid! I'm just waiting for the bottom to fall out, and it's not. And I'm just so fucking grateful that it's holding together. I'm gonna call 1 second. But that was all I had, really.
Fuck. My final thoughts. World building was awesome. I like the game mechanics and like the different like games they have, like that are connected to Brain Burst, and like how like certain things like going to what the fuck was it called, the neutral zone, that like I thought that was cool. Yeah, I thought that was cool, and the transitions and like almost playing like hey, you want to log out, go to that save spot, and then you're able to like hey log out on your own, and just it was just cool, you know.
Yeah.
And like the different character designs are awesome. Like I love me some cool like tokusatsu looking character designs.
Oh yeah, they all look really cool.
Yeah, like they, all of them look really awesome.
I like that part where like Silver Crow revealed that he had a mouth.
Oh yeah, that mouthpiece looked like the mouthpiece from Kamen Rider, like the little yeah. I thought that was really cool. Like, and that's how he fucking eats food, you know. Just yeah, like character designs are awesome for like inside Brain Burst, like the concept of it, and just like the weirdness of like the AR and VR, the fucking twist with the Chiyu really fucked with me, because like I had like I didn't know I could hate a character so much and then feel really wrong about it.
Yeah.
Feel so wrong, and I apologize to that character. If that character was real, I apologize for everything I said about you. Yeah, so if I would give a recommendation, yeah, watch the show. OVAs, they're fun, you know. Like, okay, I like the first OVA more because it had more action, and
yeah.
Second one, but it gives more backstory. It gives more, you know, backstory on the characters. Didn't really feel it. Wasn't as fun. And then the movie, I already gave my feelings on that earlier, so yeah, I didn't like it.
No, my favorite, probably for the same reason I like the series, was the first OVA, because it's like, here's this entirely new game with this entirely new settings and mechanics, and they're all equally as interesting, and I'm like, oh, cool. I want to know more about this, and it's like, it's one episode, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, that game was pretty cool. Like, so like if I like imagine ourselves and we just decided like, hey, imagine ourselves like something different. If I like, maybe I could imagine myself as I don't know, a fucking Gundam or whatever.
Don't dream it, bitch.
It goes like, hey, you can dream it, you can be it or whatever. Think it, you are it. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that
just turned himself into a gun, and he's like, I didn't do this right.
You didn't think right. So yeah. Oh, so yeah. Series, watch it. OVAs, okay, you can watch it. Movie, I hope you like seeing 30 minutes of recap.
Or you can just fast forward through it.
And I hope you.
Everyone else.
Yeah, and it's like fucking short. So yeah. Have not read the books, but yeah, I'll have to get a full-on filibuster from Jeff on it.
I promise. The new CJM extra episode will be called Accel World Revelations, where I will blow these guys' mind with everything I know. Hopefully it will be this week. I just told Mike I'll probably tell him I want to hear his thoughts, so I'll probably get Mike's thoughts on that in the CGM extra episode, which might be Wednesday, just to give us a break because it was a little extra long episode. So we'll
All right.
probably do it Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like
So sorry, Mike's not here.
yeah, my Mike left, so yeah.
So Wednesday we'll do something. Well, I'm planning on it on being on Wednesday afternoon, and it'll just be like revelations, and all these guys can ask me questions, and I will reveal two big things. One from a character they love very much, and just to rectify that whole situation, and another thing about the whole SAO deal, which yeah.
uh,
So look
so
forward to it.
so yeah, I guess that's the episode. So yeah, that was Accel World. Yeah, we liked it, and I hope our episode helped you want to watch the show and you like it too. So, yeah, next week, my pick, MTV Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
talk.
boy.
We're gonna talk Spider-Man next episode whenever we do that. So
Oh boy. Oh.
yeah, because I got some stuff to talk about on that show.
He really does.
So yeah, so yeah, so yeah. Till next episode. I've been Chris,
I'm Jeff.
I'm bad.
and thanks for watching. So yeah, stay gold, everybody. Yep. See ya.